Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
If you were to guess, I think you heard me already talk about it, but if you were to guess, how many Aggies are on the 40 most important players in college football in 2026 by Bill Connolly? How many Aggies would you think?
One.
Yeah, there's one. There's one. And I don't know if this is I went through the list. I don't know if this is a ranking of different tiers. I don't know if number one is actually the most important person. He's got different tiers of what makes them important. His number one most important player, and it's a section called New Likely Quarterbacks for Potential Contenders. Okay. And Keelan Russell was number one on that list. Josh Hoover was number two on that list. Darian Mensah was number three on that list. Will Hammond, number four on that list. So I don't think that means those are the four most important people in college football.
Right. Important to their team.
To their team. But the next section, this is where Marcel's in there. Quarterbacks with game-changing leap in them. Okay? Mm-hmm. Number five. Number one in this list, but number five overall. Arch Manning.
Okay.
Number six, Dante Moore.
Okay, thought he's already there, but okay.
Number seven, John Mateer.
All right.
I would argue that Marcel would be above him, but, it's not my list, so it's somebody else's. Number 8 on the list, Marcel Reed.
Okay.
And it says Reed was more like a dangerous Mateer. His mistakes were just as cataclysmic. He had an even higher interception rate and a lower completion rate, but he also made more big-time passes and rushed for more yards and fewer attempts while taking fewer hits. He made mistakes in bunches, seemingly struggled to move past one before making another. If he can iron that out with more experience, he should have everything he needs to make another college football playoff push. Fair.
No problem with any of that.
Yep.
I was just showing David, I don't know why I do this. I go back over the last year's games and look for stuff. And Marcel throws an interception in the end zone for KC against Florida. They're at the 21-yard line. I can't remember if it's third or probably third down. Throws an interception into double coverage. Now, Florida might have done a good job disguising it.
Yep.
But it's in the left corner and running right across the middle of the field for an easy first down is Terry Bussey. The closest guy to him is 3 yards behind him. Terry's like at the 10, the guy's at the 7.
Yep.
Boom, first down, first and goal, let's keep going. And I think that's what you're hoping to see from Marcel is just recognizing sometimes take the layup instead of going for the monster dunk.
Right.
That ricochets off the back iron.
Yep. I agree with that. And I think when we talk about the game slowing down, that's what we're talking about. In that moment, you feel it happening so fast, you feel like you have one option. If you're allowed to slow it down and survey the field scan, you would see an open Terry Bussey. And what did Coach Elko say earlier this week? He said he took the steps. He take the step we hope he would take.
So they're obviously liking what they see in practice, and in scrimmage, which of course is practice, but different than what we see in practice. And maybe we're going to find out in just over 2 weeks how much progress he's making.
Yep. Drew, am I right? There were no other Aggies on that list?
There were no other Aggies. It was just Marcel Reed at 8.
Just number, okay. I'm just going to kind of scan through it to see, like number 10 on this list, quarterback with spoiler contender potential. Faison Brandon or George McIntyre at Tennessee. Aaron Philo at Florida. Potential stars in need of a breakthrough. You've got Ryan Coleman-Williams on that list. Most important non-quarterback transfers. I'll give you a couple names. Cam Coleman at Texas.
Okay.
Isaiah Kenyon at Georgia. Let's see. That's probably ones that matter to you. Jordan Seaton, the offensive lineman at LSU, is on that list. Pure transcendence potential. We know this about Jeremiah Smith. I would think he'd be higher on the list if it was an actual ranking of the most important people. Malachi Toney right after him at 23. We've seen that up close and personal. And by the way, didn't have a monster game against A&M, but he had a monster moment.
Yeah, he did. I've heard people say that on his touchdown, Tony's touchdown, that A&M
let him have it,
let him score, because in theory, Miami's going to run down the clock,
right,
and leave A&M.
I've heard that too. I think I heard it in the last week recently.
I wonder if that's true.
Was it Billy who said it on the show?
Was it?
It might have been Billy.
And they
Nick can fact check.
They moved the ball.
I don't want to put that on Billy if
so
it
almost
wasn't.
looked like a great strategy.
Yeah.
Except that they moved the ball downfield. Maybe it would have been close enough for a field goal anyway, right? But who knows? It is what it is. He's a great player, Tony.
24. We know these guys, or we know definitely one of them, Leonard Moore and or Christian Gray, the Notre Dame cornerbacks.
Yeah. Moore's more spectacular. Gray is overrated and loves to hold.
Like the movie, right?
I guess.
I've never seen it. Number 25, that was his name, right?
I think so.
I think it was so.
Definitely Gray.
Yeah. 25, Colin Simmons.
Okay. Outstanding player.
Let's see. Breaking down the other conferences, it's got Kevin Jennings at 26. Let's see. Anybody other? Deuce Robinson at Florida State at 30. Bear Bachmeier in the Big 12 with BYU at 31. That's pretty much the names that I think would matter to Aaron Nolan at Memphis, or Marcus Stokes at Sing. So some of the names. Owen McCown, UTSA. Familiar with his game. And number 40, Michael Van Buren. He ended up at USF.
Okay. So he goes from Mississippi State to LSU to USF to replace Byron Brown, who goes from USF to Auburn.
Yeah. That's today's college football.
Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know, just, throw like pickup sticks.
Yeah.
Drop them and then just.
Look, I know A&M has a lot of transfer players,
yeah.
But what I like about it doesn't seem like they lose a lot of guys. And it doesn't seem like they lose a lot of guys that they expect to play. I mean, everybody's going to lose people.
Yeah. I don't think they lose people that they really, really want to keep.
I'm sure there's some, like every year. There's, I don't think they probably didn't want to lose Ron Kennedy, or I'm trying to think who else they didn't want to lose.
I kind of think they would have probably liked to have kept Rylan Kennedy at a certain price.
Yeah, at a certain price. Yeah.
They said, no, we can't. I mean, I don't know. This is purely my speculation. Rylan Kennedy had 2 sacks, and both of them were in garbage time.
Did you see, this is a different topic, by the way, did you see that there's a bunch of NFL players trying to get back into college football?
Yeah.
One of them is former SMU running back TJ Harden. He's going to enter the portal. And he played a little bit with the Seahawks, or preseason, I should say. Daquan Wright, Xavier Harris from Ole Miss, a couple others. So there's now 30 athletes from a variety of sports in a lawsuit filed against the NCAA in Louisiana.
Yeah, LSU, Jack Pyburn.
Jack Pyburn's on there.
Which I can only go based on what I watched and saw.
Yeah.
Take him back, LSU. I didn't think he was very good.
Yeah.
I just didn't think he was very good.
Look, I wonder
how many sacks he had for LSU last year. That's what they brought him in for.
I'm going to be a hypocrite, okay?
Okay.
I want whatever's going to help A&M.
Right.
Okay. And even though for the spirit of what I think college football should be, I don't want to say like I'm completely against it, and then I don't know, freaking Johnny Manziel comes back to back up Marcel this year. Like I know that can't happen, but I don't want to say something that the fact is I don't like it. Okay, that's how I feel. I don't like it.
Pyburn had 2 sacks all of last year.
He can come back. I don't like it. But if it's going to help A&M and everybody else is doing it, I'm cool with it.
Well, that's to me, that's the point right there. If everybody else is doing it, play by the rules or non-rules that are there.
Yep.
Right? Don't put yourself at a disadvantage, kind of like Dabo Swinney was for all those years.
Absolutely.
Saying, I don't like the transfer portal, so I'm not going to get involved in it. And meanwhile, everybody else is surpassing you because you're stubborn that way. If those are the rules that are going to be applied, then yeah, be a part of it. But I don't like it. I don't like the basketball guys playing in the G League and then coming back. I don't like guys going out. I don't think it's right that this Pyburn guy and all these other 30 guys were in the draft and now they're wanting to come back and play.
So what if you never played in a game? Do you care? Like,
I think once you declare that you're going pro,
that's it.
That should be it. Or
sign a contract.
Or I'm not too rigid. If someone said, they'll definitely sign a contract. Someone said, well, if you didn't get drafted and you never went to a camp, like
you didn't take a preseason like rookie camp kind of deal.
Yeah, as long as you didn't, like you said, sign a contract or go to a camp, okay, all right. But
if you have eligibility, it's in the window.
But the minute you said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to sign to go play with this team," I mean, allegedly it's still supposed to be amateurs. Well, they're not amateurs anymore, but this is what the NCAA messed themselves up years ago by saying, "Hey, we want Congress to settle everything." If they had just been proactive and they could still have their own hard, fast rules and things like that. I don't like that. I didn't like it when A&M basketball got this guy from the G League.
Yeah,
but everybody else was doing it.
So you should do it.
So okay. But
so
I didn't like the rule.
I don't want to use a player from A&M that's maybe not on a roster right now because I don't know what's going to happen, right?
Uh-huh.
But if there was a position of need, because let's just use a mythical team, not even use A&M. Let's say, give me a fake school.
A fake school, okay. University of Texas.
Okay. Let's use a different one. The University of Guayaveras, okay? The Guayavera Wednesday School, okay? It's a great school for guys that are, 50 plus to wear Guayaveras.
Yeah.
Great school, all right? They have an injury at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Their former running back, who was all-world, retires, doesn't make an NFL roster. He's available.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't make an NFL roster.
Right.
Would you want him back?
As my team, yeah, I'd love to have him back. But did this guy sign a contract and go into the training camp and just didn't make it? Like Le'Veon Moss.
I was kind of hinting at.
Should Le'Veon Moss be able to come back?
I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, should? Based on the rules you just laid out, like if you sign a contract, no. And he was medically retired, right? So technically, he probably wouldn't come back. And I think the running back room is pretty deep already. You don't need to add. But in this mythical scenario where maybe you had an injury,
mm-hmm.
if other schools are doing it, absolutely I'd open up a spot for him.
Right.
If other schools aren't, like if just don't put yourself behind the 8 ball, like you said.
So what we're saying is,
if it helps A&M, I'm okay with it.
It's the old line: don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
You may not like the way things are going, but just play by the rules or not by the rules that are there. Do not put yourself at a disadvantage because you're trying to take the moral high ground.
Right. Hey, OB.
I've never taken the moral high ground, by the way.
I have on a couple, like 2 times. This is TexAgs Live.
It's brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
In, what do we call this place?
The Rollo Insurance Studio.
That's right. Jason Jackson, Keith Morgan, and the boys and the girls. And this hour has a name.
The Go Hour.
The Goat Hour?
Go.
Oh, go. We're going.
Go. Got a goatee.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
That's brought to you by the Warehouse at CC Creations. If you want to be a part of the conversation, there are multiple ways to do it. One way is to call us on the what?
Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
By the way, Buppy has got a little cool idea for the football season. I'm not going to say what it is
Be
yet.
glad to hear it.
Well, we may talk about it on Monday, though.
Okay.
It's a cool idea. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. But that number, 979-693-1111, 1150, or you can text us. And where will they text us, OB?
On the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy PPE text line.
I'll give you a little details on Catalyst in just a little bit. And let's go around the room, shall we?
Yeah, let's do.
We'll go left to right. We go behind the glass. We say hi to the man that we call Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. I got another list for y'all to kind of react to because it's that time of the year. It's list season, but we're getting closer to getting over it. So Connor O'Gara, of course, TexAgs contributor, put out his top 10 pass catchers in the SEC coming into the season, and Mario Craver at number 2 there, behind Isaiah Satenga of Oklahoma. A few Texas receivers end up on the list, but Mario Craver, the lone A&M receiver, he did put in his honorable mentions Isaiah Horton on the outside looking in. So I think by the end of the year, he will crack that top 10. Heck, maybe even ABR or Terry Bussey crack into the list. But yeah, Connor O'Gara says Mario Craver is the number 2 receiver in the SEC, or pass catcher, I should say, in the SEC in the preseason.
Satania was once committed to A&M.
Yeah, you wrote a story on him.
Yeah, Jimbo, I guess, changed. Is his dad's? Well,
yeah, his dad was with Coach Henry,
a track coach.
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
I don't know if Leroy.
I don't know his complete staff yet, but very nice family. Very nice.
Yeah.
I love the Satanias. Anyway, I find it interesting, OB, the respect slash not that much respect in certain ways. A&M being a top 10 team, I think that's respect.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
With the questions that we have, the questions that the national media has about A&M, offensive line, defensive coordinator, kicking game. With those questions out there, the fact that they're getting the respect of being a top 10 team, I think is a lot of respect, okay?
That's everybody reacting to Elko.
Correct. What I find interesting, though, is you look at these All-American lists and these, top 50 lists and the top 100 players, and oftentimes there was one recently, it might have been Bill Connolly, I don't know who it was, CBS maybe, top 100 players in college football. A&M had like 2. It was like Mario and Marcel.
Okay.
So, and the reason I say that, I find it interesting to be told, hey, you're a top 10 team in our eyes, but you got like 1 or 2 players that we consider top 2, 3 at their position in the SEC sometimes.
Yeah, again, I think that's people just respect what Elko has done, and they're thinking about the track record of success in the transfer portal. They probably feel like if you had a second list of guys that could be in the top 100, but they got something to prove, they got to prove it, but we think they could. They have that potential. They'd probably put in Anto Saka.
Yep. Marco Jones, maybe
Dalton Brooks, maybe one of the corners.
By the way, I spoke to
DJ
Mario yesterday.
Yeah.
It's really, it's my first time to actually chat with him. I've talked to him at press conferences, but just me and him. The interview is great. If you go on Texas Aggies Unite or on TexAgs.com, you can see it. But there's he's got this chip on his shoulder still from when he was growing up, people doubting him for being smaller and skinnier, and he still thinks he's being doubted. And there's a quiet confidence, but an anger behind that quiet confidence, not in a destructive kind of way. It's just I'm going to prove people wrong. I like your 1A receiver having that kind of thought process.
Well, whatever it takes, right, to motivate and provide goals. And I've found that anger and the feeling of being disrespected, whether you are or not, the feeling of it is just a great motivator for a lot of great players.
Yep. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Drew Lawton making his debut on the program, new intern to TexAgs. Drew, where are you from?
Pittsburgh, Texas.
Pittsburgh, Pirates.
Texas.
The Pirates, yes.
Yeah, I've covered a few Pittsburgh high school games back in the day. Heck yeah, for Longview and Tyler.
Did you get any hot links?
I did not, but I once had to. Sorry, I'm taking your time. Early in my career, very early, I was covering a high school basketball playoff game between Rivercrest and New Diana, and they were playing in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They back in the days when you had to have a phone to send your and they didn't have a phone that was available. I wrote my story standing up at at the Pirates Gully. It's probably not there. It was like a local version of Long John Silver.
Right.
At the Pirates Gully, standing up, because they said, yeah, when you get finished, you can use our phone. Because you're driving around, I got a beat deadline. You're panicking. I went in. I'll give you whatever you want if you'll let me use your phone. So I'm very familiar with Pat. I'll give you a Pittsburgh. He might not even know this. A Pittsburgh, Texas trivia. Who's the first person to ever spike the football? He knows spike the football in an NFL game after a touchdown. The very first person to do it.
I don't know.
Homer Jones.
Pittsburgh, Texas.
Homer Jones.
Homer Jones.
Huh.
Kenneth Reeves played here, and then for the Philadelphia Eagles. His excellent player, offensive lineman here is from Pittsburgh, Texas.
Pittsburgh, Texas. What brings you to TexAgs, and what brought you to A&M?
So I graduated from Tarleton State in May.
Okay.
And this was a really good opportunity, and I saw it, and
You jumped all over it?
Jumped all over it, I think.
Yeah, but you're a big Aggie fan?
I am. I have been. My two first cousins that are kind of like siblings graduated from here in 16 and 21.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've just always been an Aggie at heart.
Tarleton and it's in the family. Like Carson would tell us, they're kind of like cousins.
They're in the family. They're definitely in the family. All right, so what do you have for us this morning?
So just kind of in a recap and foreshadowing in Aggie sports, last night the Aggie soccer team went to San Marcos and took on Texas State. They lost 3-2 in a close one where Texas State scored the game-winning goal in the last 3 minutes of the game. But on some bigger news within that game, Trinity Buchanan scored the 5th quickest goal in Aggie history, putting A&M on the board 40 seconds into the match. And Ireland Churchill scored her first career goal in the 55th minute of the match.
So
those Buchanans are quick.
Yeah, they're quick. It's interesting that A&M over the last couple of years in the non-conference has had some of these heartbreaks. TCU a couple times, late goals they would give up, and unfortunately that happened yesterday. That's a tough loss to have. They were up when I last saw it 2-1, and I was like, wait, they lost? So that's unfortunate. What else?
And a little bit of foreshadowing. Tomorrow, Aggie volleyball will travel to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and play in the Bucks Arena to compete in the AVCA First Serve Tournament. They will be taking on number 7 Louisville on ESPN2 at 5 o'clock.
All right, we had Jamie in studio yesterday. It was good. It was good to see him here. I love talking to Jamie. All right, OB. Food. But
you know what today is?
Today is Thursday, which means it's open at 1775.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you a food item.
Okay.
You give me one word.
Okay.
But the word can't be some of your regulars.
Okay.
You got to go different department. Okay. You can't say succulent.
Okay.
Okay. So if I say, I don't know, brisket.
Larapin.
If I say ribs.
Larapin. No, I got to give it.
You got to give me a different
one. Lip smacking.
Jalapeno cheese sausage.
Heavenly.
Queso mac and cheese.
I got to do this in one word. Queso mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Stupendous.
Okay. And turkey, your favorite.
I said tasty yesterday. Tasty turkey. It is
terrific.
Huh? Terrific? Well, yeah, but I thought you were looking for more.
No, I am looking for more. I'm just trying to help you, bro.
Fantabulous.
Fantabulous. And if people have never been to 1775 and they're in the area today, what would you say to them?
I would say get your butt in your car, start heading towards Snook, toward the airport, but you're going to Snook.
Like 6 minutes.
But you're on that. You're going to be a long way from Snook.
Yeah.
And just about a couple of miles past the airport, just keep looking to your left, and you'll see 1775 barbecue. Pull in and have one of the great, I'm trying to come up with these big words now, one of the spectacular dining experience, gastronomical delights of your entire life.
Yeah, I like when you use that.
You like the gastronomical delight?
That's my favorite one, yeah.
Yeah. You like that better than Epicurean delight?
I'm more of a gastronomical delight kind of guy.
I can see that about you.
I'm a gastro.
Yeah.
Not Castro.
Not Castro.
But a gastro. All right, it's 1775 TXPB. What's that?
You beat me
I knew it was coming. That's why I had to jump on you. 1775 TXBBQ.com, 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. Hey guys, David Nuno here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites, while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com.
Relationships are built through shared experiences. A conversation before kickoff, a weekend with clients, time spent together. That's the idea behind Game Day Suites Aggieland. Private, individually owned spaces designed for hosting, gathering, and doing business in the heart of Aggieland. Just minutes from Kyle Field. Purpose built for connection. Designed for Aggies. Game Day Suites, a place to gather, a place to connect, a place to belong.
Welcome back into TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. It's time for 25 in 25, presented by Paragon Financial Advisors, an Aggie-owned, independent fee-only fiduciary serving families and business owners nationwide. Visit paragon-adv.com. And number 7 on the... We're at number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Means we're almost ready for the season to start.
Yeah, because we kind of time it that way. Number 7 is Dalton Brooks.
The pride of Shiner, Texas. That old Shiner Comanche. Man, he's really good.
Yep.
And he has a lot of room to get better. I've always felt like if he works on his tackling a little bit, and I say that, and he was third in the team on tackles last year. He had like 60, 65, 60, whatever. 62 maybe?
62.
62 tackles
Look
last
at you,
year.
Johnny, on the spot.
But I can think of a couple of open field tackles. I mean, it happens to everybody, but if his tackling improves, he plays in the NFL for 10 years. I have no doubt. Such an exciting player.
A lot of experience, man. Lots of experience.
Had a really great game against Missouri. Ran for 50 yards on a fake punt. He caught. Remember the quarterback? I think it was Damian Sanford knocked the ball loose.
Oh yeah,
and Dalton caught it and took it down to like the 4-yard line. Had the one interception by a A&M DB against South Carolina.
Yep.
I mean,
he had 4 sacks last year, Drew?
Yeah, a big one against.
He had
4
sacks.
I remember the one against Arkansas. Taylor Green was just driving us crazy, wouldn't go away. It was like a rock in your shoe.
Yep.
And then they blitzed him off the edge, and Taylor Green never saw him coming. He was in there so fast, boom. And that kind of, took a lot of the angst out of that game. Dalton Brooks is a heck of a player. I imagine you could put Dalton Brooks about anywhere in the secondary and maybe in the backfield, and he'd be good.
Yeah, he's excellent. He's great at going downhill. He's good at blitzing. He can play around the box. He can cover. He gives Coach Elko and Lyle Hemphill different options pre-snap that you can do. The guy's an NFL player.
I think he is. He can work on his hands a little bit as well because he had a few would-be interceptions get away from him like everybody. But he caught that one against South Carolina. I think it ended up being he brought it back like inside the 10. I think they ended up missing a field goal. But he is a playmaker on defense.
They are deep at safety and nickel. They're pretty deep.
Yeah, I think they are. And Dalton Brooks is a big reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Dalton Brooks.
I am too. I know that he had an interview yesterday with TexAgs. We'll post it here soon. Guys, look, for this defense to take that step that we think they have to take, and I think the two main areas we've discussed many times is stopping those big play runs, right, and getting interceptions. He could play a part in both of those.
Oh, yeah, sure. As a safety. In fact, you'd expect him to.
Yeah, he better.
Look, he would. I bet you he would tell you that he could have, maybe even should have had a half dozen interceptions last year. The first part of that is being in the right place at the right time, being where you're supposed to be. He does that. And then having the athletic ability to get there if you're not, right? And he has the athletic ability. Just work on the hands a little bit, work on the tackling a little bit. And man, he could be an All-American. He's that guy that's on the list. The list that doesn't exist.
The list that doesn't exist.
That has the potential.
Yeah. If he becomes a guy that gets 4-5 takeaways and continues to be good and gets better at tackling, as you mentioned.
In open field,
in open field, and just continues to be one of the heartbeats of that defense. We're talking about a guy who's going to have a long NFL career, and A&M's defense is going to be a different looking defense.
If all those interceptions that got away from him last year, if he gets those this year, yes, he could be an All-American because not only is he going to get the interception, but he'll be on the highlight reels because he can do something with it. I think he was a star running back at Shiner.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep.
But yeah, he can do something with it once he gets it, as we saw on that fake punt against Missouri. 50 yards, 50. It might have been 48. It might have been 58. You remember the play? It was so exciting. It was like the
39.
It was only 39.
39.
Well,
Johnny on the spot.
I wish I was only 39.
Freaking Drew, killing it on his first day.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in here and correcting me.
Yeah, way to go, Drew, making us feel like 2%ers. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, we've got Stephen McGee on the program.
Stephen McGee.
We love Stephen McGee.
Burn it, Texas.
Yeah, we're talking Rollo Insurance. They're headquartered right here in College Station on Highway 6. They share our community values. They're an independent agency that works for you, not their shareholders. The team provides objective consultation across all insurance lines available in Texas and beyond. Join thousands of Aggies who trust Rollo Insurance with protecting what matters most. When local matters hit home, like severe weather or regional economic shifts, Rollo agents understand the impact firsthand because they live here too. You see them all over town. They're completely involved in Aggie athletics and just being a part of this great community, but they're all over Texas. Actually, they're growing all around the United States, but they are a College Station company, a Bryan College Station company. That's why so many local families and businesses make Rollo Insurance their first call. The difference is real. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. It is the Rollo Insurance Studio, and it is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Time for our weekly visit with Stephen McGee, brought to you by Paragon Financial Advisors. Stephen is our QB1 and can be your financial QB at Paragon Financial Advisors, helping you make the right plays for your financial future. With that, we go to the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We are joined by Stephen McGee. Mr. McGee, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Good, bud. I appreciate you joining us. So we've been kind of all over the place this morning. One of the things I wanted to get your take on was this former NFL player, and I don't even know if you call it former NFL player completely, right, OB? People who had a cup of coffee with an NFL camp, now trying to rejoin college football rosters, and there's this whole suit happening, and there's a chance that a guy who played for the Seahawks for 2 weeks is back in college football. What do you think about once you sign a contract or get invited to a camp, maybe don't make it, the ability to come back to a college football roster?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I mean, that's kind of, again, the intent of, you go pro, you make that. Once you take a snap in the NFL, you've got NFL preparation, et cetera, under your belt. I think that should eliminate your ability to come back to college. I'm not necessarily against someone that makes, the election to go pro, but then doesn't get drafted or doesn't get the interest that they wanted then to be able to come back. They've never taken or had any actual NFL experience. But what I can say is that it definitely is an advantage to those athletes that get to go to an NFL camp and learn NFL lingo. It's a crash course in football. And I know a lot of college football programs nowadays are much more advanced than they've been in years past. But I was under Mike Sherman, who's a West Coast offense, and learned a ton of football in a year's time under Mike Sherman. When I went to Dallas, I remember it was just to another nth degree, just because of the amount of time. It's a business. We're there all day. It's another level of football. And I remember having the exact thought that, man, I wish I had known and understood football when, the way I do in Dallas, back in my A&M days, and I could digest defenses, and it just allows the game to slow down. So I think that there is certainly an advantage for guys that have time and reps in camp.
So would you have opted to go back to A&M if you had I think I read about a guy, and I wish I could remember who it was, that looked like he was going to make the team. He was going to make a team. And they said, well, he's probably going to make the travel or the practice squad, and can make more money in college. If you were on the practice squad, would you still feel that way? Would you hey, I'm going to make practice squad money, so technically I've made the team, but because I don't know if you were ever in that situation. I guess everybody had 3 quarterbacks then.
No,
could you see?
In fact, most teams, I was kind of at a disadvantageous period of time when most teams were carrying 2 quarterbacks. Okay. And the practice roster was much more slimmed down than what it is today.
So given the opportunity,
roster,
and I know you've got the first dollar you ever made, but given the opportunity, what do you think is smarter, playing or being on the travel or the practice squad, but being with the team, or saying, no, I'm going to go back to my college and make more money in 1 year?
I would go back to college.
Oh, really? Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. And then just springboard yourself and give yourself another opportunity to, go through the draft process. But then it brings in this whole new can of worms. It's like, okay, well, if you go through the draft process and let's say a team spent a 7th round pick on you and you're a practice roster guy, and it becomes something like baseball almost, where now you're going back to college and then you're electing to go back into the draft the next year. I don't know. I think that's where it would have to be worked out. But, OB, to your point, bigger picture is a guy like Carson Beck, who I think is going to be proven already through a couple, 3-4 weeks of training camp. Looks like he's going to have a, very long NFL career. He's a fit. He's an NFL type quarterback. I think he maximized his value in college football. And I think, there could be some people that would argue, and I hope this is not true, but let's just say a guy like Marcel Reed, who his skill set doesn't necessarily pretend to be the NFL, what the NFL desires, right? And so he may be a type of quarterback that can maximize his value. Let's say he's making, I don't know, $3 million, $3.5 million as the starting quarterback at A&M. There's an argument that could say, hey, like his value in college football is much higher than what it would be in the NFL. I hope he has a great year and he becomes a, top 2 round guy. But I think if you just are a probabilities person saying today, knowing that this quarterback class is very heavy at the top, especially, that he would probably be at best a late round guy. And so there's more money to be had in college football.
I think the compromise, I want to hear if you agree or disagree. To me, the compromise seems like as long as you don't sign a contract, the door's still open to come back.
Yes.
And who won't like that?
What's that?
Is the NFL. Because they're saying, hey, you're coming in, filing the paperwork. Our teams think you're going to be, play.
Right.
And we used a draft pick on you. And now you're just saying, oh, I'm going to leave. So But of course, why sympathize with the NFL that's printing money and now saying, "Oh, we're going to go, play in other countries." So if the NFL gets screwed over, I guess I really don't care.
Stephen, I read this. Yeah. This is a different topic. I read this on ESPN this morning. I thought I'd bring it up to you. 50% of SEC conference games finished within one score last year, and 7 of 16 teams finished within a game of the top of the league. That almost made it feel like a letdown when all the combinations available, we ended up with the 5th Bama Georgia title game in 9 years. Just your thoughts on that when, there's all this, which is the hardest conference, this and that, just the fact that A&M is going to have 5 road games. Games are always close in the SEC, and then you hear that stat there. Just your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to argue against the idea that the SEC is the deepest football conference, top to bottom. I think the bottom of our conference is the median team in the bottom 25% or quartile of our league is going to be a much better team than the same in even the Big Ten or the ACC or Big 12. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I would say the question is, where are the best teams at the top? And I think there's a strong argument that, the Big Ten is Ohio State, of course, Indiana last year, but Michigan in what was that, 4 years ago. So I think there's an argument to be had at the top, but their top teams can compete. And, Clemson back in the day, right out of the ACC. But there's no doubt that the week in, week out grind of the SEC is unmatched. I mean, just look at the NFL draft. What percent of the guys getting drafted are coming from the SEC versus other conferences? And I know those other teams have, like Ohio State, have a lot of guys getting drafted, but just across the board, from a numbers perspective, it is a grind in the SEC for sure.
So because of that grind, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. Should there be a conference game? Because I know Kirby Smart has kind of suggested that it's counterproductive, even if you're trying to get into or even if you already know you're in the playoff, you've already played now 9, it'll be 9 conference games, and you're going to play a 10th one and then go into the playoff. So should they just do away with the conference championship games and just focus on the playoff?
I would. Yeah, I think it's a great argument. What's other than just having the trophy? I mean, a school like A&M, yeah, I mean, it'd be great. Like we talked about this last year, and we all agreed that, us getting and playing in the SEC championship would be great just so we could have the trophy and say that we did it. But for a school like Georgia that seems to be there or has a ton of those trophies, there's nothing there to be had for them. They can just lose guys. And the ultimate goal for all teams is to win the national championship, not the conference championship. And so, plus, there's some teams that come into a conference championship that are on the fringe, right? And so if they lose that game, it could potentially cost them a spot in that playoff. So I agree, OB. I think that
McGee
the validity of conference games has changed.
Okay.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back a little buy, sell, lease here on TexAgs Live. Right now, we're talking Milliken Reserve, a farm-to-table community in College Station. They've got homes, they've got trails, they've got farms, they've got wide open spaces, and they have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. 2,600 acres of open space. They've got 30 miles of trails. They've got beautiful homes. They have an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape that includes walking and equestrian paths, creeks, ponds, and gathering areas. And all the animals you can imagine when you go there to Milliken Reserve. A variety of native species find their homes in the preserved woods, the ponds, and the creeks, where you find white-tailed deer, the songbirds, the rabbits, and the turtles. And homeowners at Milliken Reserve share in a legacy of conservation, which means generation after generation, you're coming back to that pristine countryside place. It is Milliken Reserve. Check out the website to learn more, millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Hey friends, David Nuno here with the crew from Southern Charm Hospitality that brings you 3 awesome restaurants there at Century Square. We've got Hunter Ham and Hayden Bayer. All right, Hunter, I'm going to start off with you. Tell us about the awesome restaurants there at Century Square.
Yeah, so 3 different concepts, all with the focus of hospitality and caring about people. Red's Ice House, that's your burger and beer place. Ice House with an elevated food menu. Juanita's Tex-Mex Cantina, kind of upscale Tex-Mex with a little bit of seafood focus, really good margaritas, obviously. And then Porter's our flagship, Woodfire Steakhouse, upscale beverage program, huge wine list. All those amazing. We're always doing wine dinners at Porter's, tequila dinners, and we're hosting all kinds of events, company parties, and then rehearsal dinners. Then Hayden, at the end of the month, did you want to talk about Restaurant Week?
Yeah, so last week of this month, we're partnering with Visit College Station to do our take on Restaurant Week. So it's basically just a limited menu for all 3 restaurants. It's a little cheaper than normal, so if you've never tried one of the 3 restaurants, I think it's definitely a good week to come and just get a taste of the whole menu.
I'm excited, guys. Thank you very much. When you guys visit Century Square, make sure you go by Porter's Dining and Bar, Juanita's Tex-Mex Cantina, and Red's Ice House. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio, our weekly hit with Stephen McGee, brought to you by Paragon Financial Advisors. Time for Buy, Sell, Hold. And that, again, is brought to you by Paragon Financial Advisors. If you want financial guidance that truly puts you first, visit paragon-adv.com. All right, gentlemen, here's my Buy, Sell, Hold. Quarterbacks who take a step back. Who are you buying? Who are you selling? Who are you holding? And they are, and none of them have to do with Marcel Reed, by the way.
Okay.
Arch Manning,
Okay.
Trinidad Chambliss,
Okay.
Gunnar Stockton.
All right.
Mr. McGee, which one of those 3, if you had to put a buy, sell, hold on, would you buy will take a step back in 2026?
Oh, definitely not Trinidad Chambliss, although he does lose Lane Kiffin. I think that's the argument. Gunnar Stockton, I think, is just like a tough, competitive guy. Who was the first one again? Sorry.
Arch Manning.
Oh, gosh.
I made it hard for a reason.
I'm going to buy Arch Manning just for the sake that I hope it happens. I don't know. I'm interested in what your take is on this one.
Well, the one I'm going to buy on that, I'm going to have to disagree with you, is Trinidad Chambliss. As much as he's the type of quarterback I like, you just mentioned he's going to have Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they have in receivers, if they lost anybody on offensive line, but it's just not always, it's not going to be the same. So, I mean, he can still be outstanding and take a step back because he was so good last year. So he was the guy I would buy as taking a step back. I would say hold. I think Gunnar Stockton's proved who he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he's just a very consistent guy. So I don't see him changing. And then the lease would be Arch.
All right, Stephen.
Yeah, I like that argument. And, but if I'm buying any of those 3 guys to be my quarterback today, I'm buying Trinidad Chambliss.
I agree.
I love his game. But Obi's
you're coming around to my way of thinking, Stephen. Exactly. You used to be all about the pocket passer and everything. I like the guy who can pass from the pocket but moves around and does things. Okay,
yeah,
Stephen.
Definitely creative. He can get a lot done. I just I have not been convinced against my ways yet, just to be fair, that you have to win from the pocket eventually, that the quarterback position, I know that it requires more athleticism, but you still got to win from the pocket. And I think that will be the biggest question mark for A&M is can Marcel, when a team forces him to make those quick decisions in the pocket, be that guy? I think we're all optimistic that he can be.
I'll jump in on this. I think Trinidad is the most likely to take a step back because he was so good last year. It's going to be very hard to top that, right? Art showed a trajectory to keep going, getting better. And I think, well, like you said it, Gunner is who Gunner is.
He's just very consistently good.
I don't know if he's going to be, if he's that much better, will we see it with our own eyes? I don't know, right? And will he be necessarily worse? I doubt it. It's Georgia.
Yeah, the Arch Manning argument's interesting because Cam Coleman is a new weapon, and he's probably arguably one of the best in the country. But and then you obviously got the wild card with his offensive, coordinator, head coach. He's just shown he's really good in that regard.
Yeah, of the three,
I love Arch Manning's skill set.
Well,
but his offensive line is a question mark.
I think
of the three,
his offensive line's a question mark.
He's got the best receivers of the three.
Yeah.
And here's another reason I wouldn't put him as Texas. He was better in the second half of last season than the first. So it looked like he was making, significant progress.
He did. There's no doubt about it. He definitely got better late, and that's to his credit. I think he's going to be a good football player. Don't hear this the wrong way, but I think that he unfortunately is going to be subject to a lot of hype that I don't think is substantiated by his skill set. Like, I think he's a good football player. I don't think he has a great arm. I think he's a good athlete. I don't think he's a great athlete.
Got to jump in there, Steven. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Got to hit a break. We'll be back.
See ya.
We're back. TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. In a moment, we're going to talk to Wilkin Formby. I think you'll like that. Well, it's a conversation I had with him a couple days ago. I think you'll like that. But right now, we're talking heritage films. When it comes to preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy, it's not about capturing pretty pictures of your land. It's about really capturing the essence and transferring those values of your operation to the generations that are going to inherit it. And Chance McClain and his team do these documentaries. They've interviewed thousands of stories across America, and he's discovered something very profound about it. These aren't just businesses, they're blueprints for building character and building a family. From timber farmers thinking 100-year cycles to cattle ranchers preserving traditions, Farm and Ranch Films captures the wisdom that your grandkids and their grandkids are going to need. Visit yourheritagefilm.com and click on the Farm and Ranch section of the website to learn more about it, or call Chance up directly, 713-893-8341, to preserve not just your story, but your family's foundation. All right, as I mentioned, on the huddle, caught up with Wilkin Formby. We talked about the offensive line. We talked about fishing. We talked about it all. I think you'll enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Wilkin Formby. Hey, friends, and welcome into the huddle, brought to you by TexAgs and United and presented by Light-Headed Helmets. Greatness deserves more than a place on the shelf. It deserves to shine, and that's why we created the first full-size illuminated collectible helmets, bringing the legends, traditions, and teams that shaped your loyalty to life in a whole new way. Bring the pride of your favorite university home with an officially licensed light-headed illuminated helmet. Visit lightheadedhelmets.com today. Light-headed, where greatness glows. Our guest is Wilkin Formby. I don't know why I'm laughing. What's up, Wilkin? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to start things off. I'm going straight football, all right?
Let's do it.
I know last time we talked, we joked around a little bit. Actually, last time was
straight to business.
Last time was preseason kickoff. That was a good chat, too. But I asked Elko today, can you tell if an offensive line is working during camp? I'm not going to paraphrase what he said because he gave a really good answer. Basically, he said there's things you can see, but obviously we'll know more in the season.
Right.
You've done camp before many times at high level. What do you think so far?
Man, I just think something that I really appreciate from this group is the willingness to learn and to get better each day, and that's kind of our focus.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things going on with a bunch of people rotating and a lot of guys who want to play, obviously. But the main focus is the main thing, and that is just improving each practice. And that's what you see from the guys, and that motivates me because, as you know, it's a long season. There's typically some ups and downs during the season, and so having a group that's all about the work that's what you want.
Speaking of the rotation, I don't know if your prior stop was the same way, but did they rotate a lot of guys in and out? Was it kind of a set group until mishaps happened?
Usually it was a set group, and then the last year we kind of rotated a lot. Like I played a lot of tackle, and then one game they were like, all right, you're playing guard. And so I was like, here we go. And then kind of just bounced around from there. You get a good feel. Like at Alabama, you would kind of get a feel for it the week of practice, like and then there's a lot of people getting banged up and stuff. So that's always good to be able to get guys in there and build reps and confidence and things like that.
For you that you can play multiple positions, is there a position you like the most, and what do you think about that helping you out at the next level?
Yeah, I love playing offensive tackle. I just like playing offensive line, obviously. I've played it for so long now. But playing guard was a lot of fun, and I'm really blessed and thankful for the opportunity to have footage out there of playing guard. I think that will help me one day when it comes to the next chapter of my career, one day going to the NFL and just being able to, a lot of times they say, can this guy play guard? How will this guy's transition be to guard? And luckily I have some film of me playing against some really good players at that position. So I'm just thankful for the position flex and for that opportunity.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the chemistry. You always hear about new offensive lines. It takes time to gel.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you? Because, obviously you have your assignment. You know who you're supposed to block. You know what you're supposed to do. But, is chemistry something you can develop during the offseason and during fall camp? Or is that, go back to what we were talking about earlier, it is in games we'll figure that part out?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there's different parts to the question. I think that at first you develop that camaraderie and the chemistry and that gel from struggling with one another. So whether that's with Coach Moffitt's workouts, whether that's in the meeting room with new plays and a new offense that we put in, that struggle together and kind of working together, leaning on each other for, hey, what was he saying about this call or this play or whatever, that can help a lot. And then just like you said, playing games is going to help, but I mean, playing practices, is also very helpful. Just getting good chemistry. I mean, we go against a really, really talented defense every single day. And so the more that we work together, picking up on pre-snap tendencies and things like that, just being able to gel with the people next to you and just as five.
Are you better today than where you were a month ago? And obviously when you first got to Texas A&M, just in your comfort level with this team and yourself?
Yeah, I've gotten so much better through these past camp practices, like from the summer practices to now, from spring to now, from last season to now. I've just seen so many strides in my game, and that's just a testament to our coaches and to our staff, and just being able to push me out of my comfort zone and just really coach me the way that I need to be coached. And I mean, I'm just thankful that I have a lot of good teachers in my room being able to help me and influence my game positively.
Talk to me about some of the young guys in the room that are pushing to be the guys, right?
Yes,
and I think that's a testament to the depth that this team has, that you have veterans that A&M brought in, you've got young guys ready. Take me through the young guys, and then we'll kind of go through the rest of the room.
Man, I'm just pleased with the young guys, how hard they work, with their confidence levels. Like, people don't realize when you're young and it's your first camp, like, your confidence can be in the gutter. Like, you get beat, your coach is on you, it's hot, and you can just kind of plummet. But these guys are working so hard. Every single one of them is taking tremendous strides. Like Avery, his game has improved so much. Me and Tyree were watching him during the scrimmage a couple days ago, and we were just like, man, like, see where he was in the spring to now, the strides that he's taking, and then he's going to continue to take those strides. It's Sam. He's doing a good job playing different positions, just growing in confidence. And, I mean, it's tricky for him because everyone has to lean on him as the center because he plays a lot of center. So him just being able to develop knowledge of the offense and things like that. And then Zayden is really settling in and getting really comfortable. And for him to be that young and starting to get as comfortable as he is, going against really good rushers who've played a lot of snaps, to see Zayden do that, it motivates me and it excites me to see a young guy. And he plays hard. And, I mean, it's just, we got a really good group.
How does Lamont look?
He looks good. Yeah, he looks really good. Lamont's always impressed me just how athletic he is, how big he is, but he just works so hard, and he's 100% bought in every area of football and the game, and he just wants to be the best player. And so, like, me and him being able to work together and all off season and all summer and now, it's been good.
Is there like a different kind of fraternity between you and some of the other transfer line guys? Because you all kind of came in at the same time. Cohen, Tyree, I feel like Trevon, another one. Does it feel like a different kind of like togetherness, if you will?
I would definitely say at first, just being honest, like, we were all new to Texas A&M. We were all new to this atmosphere. We were all new to this team. But then, like, as time went on, I don't think that there's like any allegiance with just transfer portal
guys. Right, the whole group is good,
yeah. But at first, like, I think we gravitated towards each other, to be honest, just because that's natural. I mean, it was all unknown for all of us, but that makes the transition so easy. I just remember at Alabama when we would get one transfer portal O-lineman, and he would just be like the odd man out at first. And then it just takes time to get to know each other and but we're all going through this, like, just figuring out our schedules together, or new school, like all this stuff together, and it being new for all of us, it helped.
Talk to me about Mark Naboo, who is, he's going to be the leader of that line. What have you learned about him in your short time working with him?
Yeah, he works really hard. I was just on the way over here, and I passed him in the car, and he was like, and we were talking about going to watch film together right after this interview. So we've got a lot of time just for our relationship to grow with one another and to just keep improving on the field. But his leadership stands out. His passion for the game and just being a pro and how much he cares for the other guys and stuff that stands out a lot.
All right, I want to get back to football in a second, but I got to ask you, the fishing. All right, you went gar fishing with Kyle Nagley, the fish whisperer.
Right.
You knew his reputation, right?
Yeah.
Like, so how was that whole experience?
Man, that was a blast. It was really fun to be able to go with some of my teammates and the fish whisperer. I mean, that was a blast. He taught me a lot because, like, usually when you go fishing, you just throw something out there and then it bites and you just reel it in. But this is actually a skill. Yeah. There's a technique to it. And then, like,
you got to be strong too, right?
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. And you strike out sometimes because their mouth is super bony, and so sometimes the hook don't really set. But that was a blast, and that was a passion that I want to pursue. Like just being able to go and fish with, like do different types of fishing, because like I grew up fishing and stuff like that, but I had never done gar fishing.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
So, do you have other passions like that? Fishing? You're into hunting too, right?
Yeah, me and Mark, we've been hunting like all off season.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like there's no more pigs in College Station. Like I'm pretty sure like I think they're all dead. Like,
yeah.
The past like 2 times we went out there, we haven't seen any. So I think I think they either know our cycle or we've killed them all.
Yeah. How'd you get into the outdoors?
I mean, I think when I first got here, I got into it a lot more because, like, I mean, it's Texas. That's just what you do.
Yeah, right.
But in Alabama, like, that was my first time hunting was last year with Ty Simpson and Caden Proctor. Me and Caden had never been hunting. Like, I shot guns before, but my family, we didn't grow up hunting much. And so he was like, you got to come. But I'm warning you, like, if you kill something, like, you're going to be hooked. And I was like, get out of here. I'll go, whatever. And then I did. I killed a pig, and like something's been wrong with me ever since. Like I've just been going ever since.
You got the bug.
Yeah. So once I got out here, found the like guys that like to go. We make it a fun little like weekend trip. We'll just hunt a couple days, or we'll go fish. But yeah, it's been a good off season.
So I've heard nothing but rave reviews about your quarterback, Marcel Reed. Talk about his fall camp so far.
He's had a great fall camp, and I was asked earlier this week in an interview about just his leadership. And his leadership stands out to me so much because he's the same person to everybody in the locker room. And I've never really seen like a leader like that who knows every single person with such intent behind it. And he actually cares to know every single person on the team. And that's big for a leader. That's what you want. And, but I mean, his game, like he's a playmaker, he's explosive. I mean, he's just had a great camp so far, and it's just exciting to see what we can do when we go out there and play another team.
The running game is going to be very instrumental in what you all do.
Right.
So, and obviously there's a synergy between what you all do, what the quarterback does, and what the running game does. So talk to me about what you've seen from the running game.
Man, the running game is super dynamic because obviously we have a threat from the quarterback to run as well. So that's something you have to take into account. But our running back room is loaded. We have relentless, hardworking running backs who are like, this is a theme for our offense, is the explosiveness. They're super explosive. They find the holes. They make us look better than we are. I mean, I'm blessed to have such talented running backs, and that's a testament to their coach as well, who's the same guy every single day, Coach Troop, and just the heart that he pours and how hard he works is just, we're blessed to have him.
I'm going to ask you an unfair question, but you don't have to answer it. You've been on a playoff team. You know what a good team, a really good team looks like.
Right.
Can you tell if this team's really good right now?
You know, that's always a hard question because, like, when you get to going against your teammates so much, like Texas A&M versus Texas A&M, and you're just kind of beating the crap out of each other, you start to, like, wonder, like, how's this team going to be? Like, that's how I usually am going into the season, and, like, I just feel like we have so many good playmakers on offense, so many good playmakers on defense, and just the coaches that we have, it's really pointing towards a big season.
Yeah.
But you really don't know until you play that first game, first couple games. But I'm definitely confident in our team's potential and what we'll do this year.
And confident in the work that you've done so far and will continue to do.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome stuff, Wilkin. Thank you so much.
No doubt.
Wilkin Formby here on The Huddle on TexAgs.com. Love chatting with Wilkin. He's great. He's funny. He's insightful, smart. I think he's going to be a great addition to this offensive line. And, you know, one of the things that he's been able to play multiple positions, but he likes playing tackle. He's probably going to play tackle here. It's been good. It's been a good one. Let's check in at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Drew, any comments to read before we hit a break?
There was one. It was more of just kind of an opinion that he had. So Jim in Cyprus.
Oh, Jim in Cyprus. He's our guy. Yesterday he came after us. Ether. Like he came destructive towards us. But all right.
Well, he said, I don't want conference championship games to go away. If that happens, it's quote unquote all or nothing. Conference championships are interesting and a goal. If there's only one goal for all schools, then there's no possibility for anyone other than the 5 to 10 teams that typically win.
Couple thoughts on that. Interesting point. I'm going to say soccer, for instance. In soccer, you have multiple things that matter. You can win your league. You can win this cup. You can win the Champions League, right? There's different things that matter. So people have different variations of what they consider a successful year. I still think in college football, it is about winning the national championship more than it is about, obviously, more than winning a conference championship. A 10-win season is still a successful season in the eyes of most people. But when you do it all the time, Mark Richt got fired winning 10 games often, right, at Georgia. So, but A&M hasn't been that. So I'm all about winning the conference championship now. But at the end of the day, it is about winning a national championship. And I think as fans, something's very loud. Do you think that's A&M football or is it people next door?
I have no idea, but it is very loud.
Hopefully A&M football is practicing very loud.
Hopefully.
Anyway, what was I saying about it? At the end of the day, it matters. Like, you decide what's a successful season. There are many people that don't think 11-2 was successful last year because of the last two games defined the entire year for them. That's their prerogative. That's what they're allowed to think. There are some that, I don't want to say overrate the 11-2, like, dude, amazing, what a year. Everybody's got their own metrics, right? I think it was a very successful season. I do. I hated the way it ended. I'm always going to hate the way a season ends unless it brings you a national championship, right? Like A&M, the year they went 5-7 in 2022 and beat LSU the last game of the season, that was nice. It felt good. Like, oh, yay, we won in the offseason. The offseason's going to feel a little shorter because, hey, it still sucked. They went 5-7. I'm a totality guy personally. What does the totality of the season feel like? It did feel like they had more they should have done last year. It still was a great year. I would have loved the opportunity. I think people know this. I don't like Atlanta. I don't like it. Okay? I don't. Not my town. But I would have loved to have gone to Atlanta last year to experience an SEC championship game. I would have loved that. We didn't get that opportunity. All right, we'll come back. Find out what's popping on the other side with Drew. Great news, Ags. If you ever wanted a one-stop shop for nothing Aggie-related content, there's the AggieSpirit.com, but there's also a lot of other things going on. The Association of Former Students wants to know if you have any great Aggie stories you'd like to share with the Aggie Network. Did you travel somewhere, take an amazing picture? Did you have an Aggie-themed wedding? Are you a generational Aggie with a rich history of former students in your family? Do you give back to the Association of Former Students and want to inspire those to do so? Well, were you impacted firsthand by the power of the Aggie Network? The association is always on the hunt for good bull stories to feature on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X, and of course on YouTube. And they need help for you to send your stories and your pictures. If you have a story to share, email social@aggienetwork.com. That is social@aggienetwork.com. Check it out for a chance to be featured. It is the Association of Former Students.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratella Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Lucci. And Fratella has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratella is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo, a couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratella's is Aggie-owned and operated, and is an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
Do we like this song?
We do.
I think it's a good song.
Zach Brown's just a good guy.
There was a time they were playing it too much, and I think J.J. Watt was like, when he was with the Texans, playing it all, like I think he was going on tour with them. I don't know, maybe I'm making that up, but it felt like he was always with them. So anyway, that has nothing to do with TexAgs. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And earlier I talked to you a little bit about Catalyst Pure Performance, and I'm just going to get you some more information on them because they got a cool deal going on that I think people need to jump on. So speaking of Catalyst Pure Performance, visit drinkcatalyst.com and buy any 12-pack and get the second 12-pack for free. Use the code TexAgs at checkout to get that offer. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Drew Lawton. Drew, tell me something good.
So there were some big moments in the MLB last night for former Aggies and minor leagues. We'll get into that. But so Braden Montgomery, former Aggie outfielder, was picked off at first base.
Oh, no.
Not really the mistake that a rookie wants to make. How does he redeem himself? He records a 9-5 double play in right field where he made the catch and threw out Tyrone Taylor. And, yeah, there it is right there. I mean,
oh, wow. Got the highlight and everything.
Literally not even close. So that was nice. And then he also responded in the 8th with a 2-run double that extended the White Sox lead to 3-0.
He's so freaking good.
He is, and he's heating up. Yeah, look at that throw. I mean, that's
what a freaking gun.
95.1 from right field.
Wow.
Miles an hour.
Freaking Braden.
Then he had a 2-run double to make it 3-0. He's been heating up. He's hitting 296 over his last 7 games. Former Aggie reliever A.J. Minter threw 2/3 of a scoreless inning last night. He recorded the win for the Minnesota Twins over the Atlanta Braves. He's got a sub-2 ERA now, 1.99 on the year. So Minter,
awesome for AJ. That's great news. Yeah,
Minter's been doing pretty good. He got traded, and he has been very good for the Twins. Also, in the minor leagues, in the Double-A affiliate for the Cleveland Guardians, they're called the Akron Rubber Ducks.
Pardon?
The Akron Rubber Ducks.
Okay.
Jay Slaviolette hit his 20th minor league home run.
You told me that at the break. Nick, did you know he had that many home runs between both levels that he's played at?
Yeah. Bronny does a good job of like retweeting when he does hit him and the teams post it. But yeah, he's been having a good year.
In my head, I thought it was like more like 14, 15, which I thought was really good. I didn't realize it was already 20. Congratulations, Jace.
He had 19 at high A, and then this was his first at the Double-A level. So he's been having a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for Jace. Anything else you want to chat about?
I do want to kind of bring this up to you.
Okay. You have a problem?
I don't have I kind of have a problem with the list, but I want to see if you do as well.
Okay.
There were 0 Aggie football players who made the AP All-American teams. So there was a first team and a second team. There were 0 Aggies that made that list. Is there anybody that you think should have made that list? Or is there
All-Americans?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is there anyone you think can be on the list at the end of the year?
Those are all good questions. First off, I think that I was kind of alluding to that earlier with OB that, I keep seeing these lists that, on one hand, you hear A&M is a top 10 team, but their schedule, but right now they're a top 10 team. And then there's all these lists that Marcel's the 8th quarterback in the SEC behind people who've never ever played and never thrown a football. And then you have, this. All-American, we're talking a couple of people per position, right? I don't know if they have that today. I'm not saying I disagree with that. Can you give me some of the names of some of the positions that maybe I'd have a problem with, maybe not?
So for the receivers, I was thinking maybe Mario Craver could sneak in. On the second team.
Who do they have? Cam and somebody else?
So first team, they have for the receivers Jeremiah Smith, Malachi Tony, and Cam Coleman.
Okay.
Big three.
Who do they have on second team?
Deuce Robinson out of Florida State, Charlie Becker out of Indiana, and KJ Duff at Rutgers.
Yeah, I would put Mario there. Yeah, I think absolutely Mario should be there.
And I thought maybe Naboo could sneak in at center.
Yeah, I don't know anybody's center but ours. And yes, Naboo should be. He should be in the mix. But I don't know how to evaluate other centers. Nick, are you a center evaluator?
I'm not. I wish we had Matthew Dawson here. He could tell us all about it. But when I watch games, I do not watch the offensive or defensive lines. I follow the football. Maybe that makes me a non-ball knower, but I don't care.
If you were to ask Matthew Dawson, what's Mark Naboo's shoe size? He would know.
Definitely. That translates well to the NFL because 79% of centers wear a size 6. That's a really small foot.
No, that's like a dwarf. Not that there's anything wrong with that. All right, what else?
Speaking of Mark Naboo, there were 4 Aggies that were named to the 2026 preseason coaches All-SEC team.
Okay, how many?
4.
Okay.
There were 4. First team, wide receiver and all-purpose, Mario Craver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second team, center, Mark
Naboo.
Third team, there were 2 on the third team. DJ Hicks.
Okay, appreciate that.
Listed at the kickoff specialist position, Terry Bussey.
Appreciate that. Okay. Hold on, is that 6 already?
That was 4.
Oh, you said 4. Okay.
The four Aggies that made that list.
I'm trying to think if Damian Sanford wasn't hurt, we'd be talking a little bit more about him. Who are some of the other people that made this list?
So,
do you have that or no?
I have the list pulled up. Texas had a good amount. Oklahoma had a lot of people on this list. I was thinking, I didn't know for sure, but maybe Ruben Owens could sneak in on the third team because they list 2 running backs.
Yep.
For each team.
Who are the running backs?
On the first team,
Hollywood Smothers,
Kawan Lacey, and Hardy for the first team.
Okay.
Second team running backs, Jaden Baugh out of Florida and Nate Frazier. And then on the
Am I distracting you?
That was a pretty good flick.
Yeah, thank you.
And on the third team, Deshaun Bishop out of Tennessee and Hollywood Smothers out of Texas.
Okay. I'd have to go look at their numbers to see, but let's just hope Ruben ends up on first or second team. Yeah. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back here on TexAgs Live, we are talking to Aaron Torres for Around College Football. But right now we're talking Milliken Reserve again. No, we're not. We're talking Paragon Financial. I talked about Milliken Reserve. They're awesome. You should probably do your financial planning at Milliken Reserve. That'd be a great place for McGee to do a meeting. When it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team should be and is, for many people, Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They are an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep. At Paragon, credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio, hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. It is now time for Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve. And with that, we go to the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, joined by our buddy, Aaron Torres. AT, good morning, buddy. How you been?
I'm well. So it's not around college sports today. You know, A&M picked up an August commitment earlier this week, I saw. So I didn't know if we were going to break down Jordan Pope's game today or focus on the season ahead. But great to be with you as always, my man. And Hope, what do we got? One more Saturday without games of some magnitude. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Well, let's maybe start there. I didn't think I was going to start there, but I know you love college basketball. What do you think about Jordan Pope joining the Aggies?
So I'm not going to lie, I did not think you were going to ask, but I actually really do like the move. I'll tell you a true story. So Jordan Pope, at least for 1 year, played high school basketball in Northern California. He played on a team, ironically, maybe not ironically, but Jalen Green, who was a Houston Rocket forever, was part of the team. And so I went up to interview Jalen Green when he was in high school. There's a little scrappy freshman named Jordan Pope that I really like. So, no, I like him. And we can focus on football after this, but what I will say, kind of a crazy story. You know, he played at Texas last year, and he broke his foot before the final NCAA tournament game that he played, and nobody knew about it until after the game was over, and he and Sean Miller kind of said, I think Sean Miller more so said, like, it's one of the bravest things I've ever seen. So that's the kind of guy that Texas A&M is getting. I'm sure you've been talking about all these crazy court orders. Maybe you haven't. Whether we should be having free agency in August or not is another conversation altogether. But I do like this young man who is now an Aggie. So,
AT, I know you've got hot sports takes sometimes, so I can't imagine you love, maybe you do, maybe you'll tell me I'm wrong. I can't imagine you love people going to the NFL for a cup of coffee, maybe going off, some kind of rookie camp, OTA, something, and then being like, you know what, I'm going to go play college football again. I just can't see you liking that, but I could be wrong.
So I don't like it. And, at some point, I'll be honest, too, I do think there has to be a little bit of, self-respect of, if I was at Fox Sports Radio and somebody offered me something, I don't know, the hypothetical in which there would be a eligibility clock on when I would be able to leave, but I left and I failed and I wasn't good enough. There would be a tail between my legs element of it, and I know there's a financial consideration. So, no, I don't like it. And it's just, there's no, I know you said hot sports take. There is none, man. Listen, I think this new era of college sports is better in many ways. I think the portal in both football and basketball, I'm sure Bronny could tell me about the baseball portal, it creates interest that was never there. I think talking college sports is now kind of a 365-day-a-year thing where better than anybody. 5-6 years ago, you're breaking down depth charts in May and there's no end in sight. So I think there's been a lot of net positives to this new world. I don't think having no rules that are enforceable at all is good under any circumstance, anywhere in life or society. And unfortunately, that is basically where we're at in college sports. Quick side tangent. I was listening to something this morning about, well, LSU could sign these guys, with this new thing in Louisiana, but they only have one roster spot available. And it's like, once you're signing guys that aren't eligible by NCAA rules, do you care about roster spots and availability? I don't know. But like I said, I know I'm going long, so I'll just cut it off by saying I don't think there is any walk of life that is better when there are absolutely zero enforceable rules on the book, and that's essentially where we are with college sports.
So kind of circle back to something you talked about and, NIL making it more interesting and having this free agency that actually I think sometimes takes away from recruiting a little bit, depending on your program.
100%.
But what Lane Kiffin and Dan Hurley said that you tweeted about, I thought was very interesting about they're taking it a little bit more serious. And I wonder, when you do get that financial commitment, in my head, I thought maybe when you're getting paid, you don't take it as serious because you're a college kid making money, but they're reporting something different.
Well, Kiffin said something this week about basically, and this sort of does play into the no rules circumstance of it, is, hey, it works both ways. You can leave us at any point for a higher bidder, but we can essentially cut you. And, coaches aren't going to call it cutting, but it's like, middle school basketball. It's like, they're cutting people out there in these streets. And so, Kiffin said, I think guys understand that if they don't perform, that check that they're getting this year, they might be going somewhere else and they might not be getting that kind of money. Dan Hurley had said something similar last week, and Dan Hurley actually said something very similar early in the spring where he essentially said, like, basically it allows us as a program to say, like, are you fully locked in? And, like, if we bring you back for another year, are you ready, to go full speed ahead the way that you did the last year? Or maybe you didn't the last year and maybe this isn't the place for you. So I do think it's interesting. As I said, there's benefits and drawbacks to all this stuff. And I'll say for the fourth or fifth time in this interview, having absolutely no rules are never a good thing. But I think some of the fatalism about where we are, I do fundamentally disagree with. But again, to circle back to players now, literally thousands of athletes becoming eligible in August when classes have already started, I don't think that's a net win for college sports.
Talking to Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio and, of course, Aaron Torres online. AT, let's talk Kirk Cignetti. Calling people out, that's his thing. It's fun. I like it. But what do you think about canceling the Notre Dame series?
Yeah, first of all, I was doing a radio hit in Indianapolis yesterday, and imagine telling somebody that within 2 years, of the day he was hired or whatever, go back to whatever day you want, Indiana football will become the villain that everyone else in college football rallies around. That feels like where we are because Cignetti isn't afraid to talk. So, listen, with the Indiana Notre Dame thing, Indiana canceled it. From my understanding, because of where the series fell on the schedule, I don't think Notre Dame was super upset about it. I believe there's a year or two where it overlaps with an Alabama series for Notre Dame anyway. Listen, I think two things can be true. I think, listen, the schedule is a little bit soft. Signetti would tell you, hey, man, it's a Big Ten rule. It's not an Indiana rule. Talk to Tony Petitti or whoever, but I also think a couple things. One, it sets him up to be criticized publicly. Here's the other thing, Nuno, that I've started to kind of come around on. And listen, you can mark this one down. This is a take that I think is going to stand the test of time as we get to November, December. I think it's going to be interesting if in Indiana, or frankly, a school not far from where I am right now, USC, if we're in a situation where we got a bunch of 10-2 teams in college football, and you have a school like Texas that, let's say they lose to Ohio State, but they challenge themselves in the out-of-conference, I think the USCs and the Indianas of the world are really going to be at a disadvantage as we start parsing through resumes as we get into November and December. Now, listen, maybe Indiana's undefeated, maybe they win the Big Ten, maybe there's no competition like last year, then it obviously won't matter. But I do think it becomes interesting of those teams that could hypothetically be on the cut line and what it would mean for them if they're actively not only are they not playing a good out-of-conference schedule, they're actively going out of the way to cancel big games. And I think, again, that applies to USC as well as Indiana.
Talking to Aaron Torres here on TexAgs Live. I'm going to read you the stat that I read to Stephen McGee earlier, and just because I know you did a topic on does the SEC bounce back on your show this week. And I'm just going to read this to you. We've gone down this path before. I'm not as leaning the one way as I used to be, as much as I was, I should say. So here's the stat. 50% of SEC conference games finished within one score last year, and 7 of the 16 teams finished within a game of the top of the league. That almost made it feel like a letdown with all the combinations available. We still ended up with the 5th Bama-Georgia title game. That's from an ESPN article from Bill Connolly. So with that being said of how deep I think the conference is, and I still don't think it matters when it talks about winning a national championship, yada, yada, yada. Does the SEC bounce back? And then I give you that stat in the background to think about.
Yeah, there was like 4 different stats in there. I know which one you're referencing. I listen, what do they say? There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. You can spin stats any way you want. Listen, I'm not going to get off the hill of two different things, one negative, one positive for the SEC. The bottom of the league was terrible last year, and I'm sorry, it's just the truth. And listen, A&M was a benefactor of it. A&M also went to Notre Dame and got one of the best wins of the season. A&M deserved to be in the college football playoff. But I'm sorry, you cannot convince me that Kentucky was a good football team last year. You cannot convince me that Florida was a good – they had talent. They were not well coached at any point of the season. And so, I do think there is something to the middle of the league was very interesting and whatever. The bottom line is you can't convince me that the bottom of the league was good. I watched the games. Auburn could literally not move the football. I'm sorry. And, oh, by the way, Kentucky, their only SEC wins were against Florida and Auburn, fired coaches. Auburn's only win was against Arkansas, fired their coach. With that said, I think you could argue that essentially every school that made an upgrade this year, with the exception of Ole Miss, 6 new head coaches in this league, I think those coaches are going to have their respective schools more competitive than the previous coach did a year ago. I think Alex Golesh is going to just frankly be more invested in Auburn football than Hugh Freeze was. I think John Summerall is I think he's just better than Billy Napier. I think Will Stein will have Kentucky fun to watch and putting up points on and on and on. Lane Kiffin, I think it speaks for itself. So, you can throw a million different stats at me. You cannot convince me that the bottom of the league was good last year, but I would counter it by saying I do think the bottom of the league takes a step up this year, and maybe some of those teams, frankly, just aren't in the bottom. And then I would pivot to that by going back to what I said a minute ago is I really do truly believe that we're entering this era of parity where last year, just because of how the schedules broke, Ole Miss, A&M, Alabama, Georgia all finished with one loss in league play. I just don't think that's happening. And one of my bold stances is, and we just talked about it with Indiana, I think we're not only going to have 10-2 teams battling it out for a playoff spot, I think we're going to see the first 9-3 at-large team. I really do. Ohio State, Texas, both crazy in-conference schedules, plus that big out-of-conference game. Oklahoma, I don't think will be punished if they go to Michigan and lose, on and on. That is my bold prediction. So anyway, I gave you like 4 different rants in one, but yeah, I guess the theme of that rant, of all those rants, is that I think the bottom and the middle is going to elevate because of the coaching changes in the league this year.
Talking to Aaron Torres here on TexAgs Live. All right, Aaron, tell me a team that you think could make the playoffs that nobody's talking about.
I think I gave this one to you a few weeks ago. Tennessee, to me, is the one in the SEC. Like, it's just, listen, I just talked about schedules. Here's the thing with Tennessee. Look at the schedule. They have the brutal game in a little place called Texas A&M. That is by far the toughest road game that they have, and I understand there's no easy road games in the SEC. Look at the schedule, though. Look, I want you to look closely, David Nuno, okay? 3 really big home games. First one against Texas. That will be Texas's first true road game of the season. Alabama at Tennessee. Tennessee has beaten Alabama the last 2 times that they have gone to Neyland Stadium. LSU going to Tennessee. Not sure if you heard, Lane Kiffin once upon a time coached at Tennessee, and Josh Heupel encouraged fans to bring mustard bottles and golf balls to throw at him. And yes, he was being sarcastic, him being Josh Heupel, but it's going to be a crazy environment. I think the schedule breaks nice. Defense will be improved under Jim Knowles. And Heupel always figures out the quarterback. I do not care that we don't know who their quarterback is 2 weeks out. By the way, last year, their quarterback didn't get there till May, no spring practice, and they led the SEC in scoring. So Tennessee's the one. I think they're the 3rd, 4th place finisher, but I think they will be they'll certainly be in the conversation, if not outright in the playoff. They're the one out of the SEC. I can give you some other ones. I think we're out of time, but in the SEC, they're the one that I like.
Well, I'll just follow that up. Where do you have, if you have Tennessee, maybe that 3rd or 4th one, where do you have A&M, in your opinion, in the top 16 of the SEC?
Yeah, I think they're in like that 3 to 5 range. I really like the talent, but the schedule just gets tougher. It just does. The Texas conundrum is a thing in and of itself, and then you got all those tough road games. Listen, we've talked about it. I know you wanted LSU. Last year, excuse me. I'm not saying that I am dismissing what happened, but I think we know it is a different atmosphere and environment. Obviously, the Alabama game is going to be tough. So to me, this league now, especially with the 9th game, and especially if the middle does rise the way that I think it is, it's just going to be an NFL where who catches the right injury breaks, what time, who catches the right injury breaks for the other team at the right time. And I don't think you can just look at teams and say these are the 3 most talented teams, so they're a lock for the college football playoff. And I know we got to go, maybe a conversation for next week. I think it's the same conversation in Austin. The talent is there, but the schedule is just bonkers, and you can't just pencil Texas into the college football playoff or A&M or Alabama or whoever. And I just think that's where this league is right now, especially with that 9th conference game.
AT, appreciate you, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right, my man. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
Later. Aaron Torres there on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Brazos Running Company and Mason Hay, they are a family in legacy at Century Square. Brazos Running Company, they're locally owned. They have an Aggie owner, and he's amazing. Mike is great. They're a specialty running store in Century Square. They're passionate about finding the right shoe for you. If you're a runner, into fitness, a walker, whatever it may be, let them find the right shoe for you. They're going to put you through a battery of tests. I say that jokingly. They're just going to find the right shoe for you. That's what they do well. Running shoes from Brooks to On to Hoka. They have Viore. They have Duck Camp. They have it all. And my voice cracked there. And Mike's daughters are awesome. They're Aggies, class of 22 and class of 25, Haley and Macy, and they're 4th-generation Aggies, College Station natives. They've created Mason Hay, their own company featuring officially licensed Aggie merchandise, Aggie pajamas with original artwork inspired by those A&M traditions, baby blankets, stationery, you name it. So from running shoes to Aggie pajamas, check out this Aggie family who's got you covered. Visit the Brazos Running Company in Century Square or shop Mason Hay at masonhay.com. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. 0 sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. We are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, Drew Lawton. I don't know why I pronounced the T so hard there. Anyway, what do you got?
So Brad Crawford with CBS Sports came out.
I'm already out.
So,
I'm out.
Oh.
Go ahead. I'm kidding.
It's called Playoff Crashers. So just pretty much potential teams that he thinks can make the playoffs, and there were 2 SEC teams that made the list. Do you want to take a guess?
So teams that are not expected to make the playoffs that could make the playoffs?
Yes, that aren't they're not ranked either.
Okay, that kind of fits into what I asked. Well, okay.
Kind of what you asked a few minutes ago.
Of AT, but Tennessee's ranked at, what are they, 20th, I think? Okay. Who does Brad have?
So out of the 2 SEC teams, he has Florida and South Carolina.
I could see South Carolina.
And he kind of has a what's to like, and then there's the worry. So,
I don't know Florida's schedule. Nick, can you put that up for me? That at Auburn, I think they're going to win that. Ole Miss could be interesting. Let's see. The first half of the schedule is very manageable. They do go to Texas. That'll be interesting. And they got Georgia. And they got Oklahoma. I don't know how manageable it is.
For the what's to like, it says his team plays fast, they hit hard, and rarely beat themselves, and that's 3 traits that can flip close games against a demanding schedule like the Gators have. And then the worry is they play Georgia and Atlanta, Texas, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Missouri.
Yeah, I don't think they're making the playoffs. But I could see, like, the first half of the schedule is somewhat manageable, that they could, make some hay, but I don't know. Again, it's hard to evaluate these teams with a new coach and new roster. That's very difficult. We'll hit a break. When we come back, get an Arkansas insider. Nobody's predicting them to make the playoffs. That, I'm pretty sure, is universal, even in Arkansas. We'll talk to an insider next on TexAgs Live. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the program. So as we continue getting insiders on the show to find out a little bit about the teams that A&M will be playing this year, we're going to go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, joined by Regan Skarda, an Arkansas insider who over the last couple of years I've seen her career grow at SEC Media Days. Rachel, what's up? Welcome to the program.
You mean Reagan?
What did I say?
You said Rachel.
Why did I say Rachel? Your name's Regan. What's up, Regan?
How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I've been proud of you, the way you've been growing. You've been doing good stuff. So let's talk about Arkansas. What is the vibe there? Because when I've talked to insiders in the past, they want to be optimistic, right? They want to be, but they're like, I don't know. It's a new coach, and it just doesn't feel right yet. How are the vibes in your perspective?
I feel like as of right now, the narrative is still pretty much negative. You know, over the past decade, 6 of those seasons have been losing seasons, and those have been under 3 head coaches. And I feel like Ryan Silverfield was kind of a disappointment of a hire compared to other coaches that we were looking at, Alex Golish and Franklin coming in from Penn State. But at the end of the day, I feel like the vibes are we're more excited this year. Ryan Silverfield is definitely more positive, and he's trying to change the mindset within the locker room. And I feel like when you first try to change the mindset within the locker room, that'll change the product that you get on the field. He said at SEC Media Days that he has tons of love for the Arkansas football program and the history, but the past has nothing moving forward with this team. So, and he said that the players have their blinders on. So, and I personally have never heard an Arkansas football coach have said that. So I feel like that's very good and very interesting. So, like I said, changing the mindset within the locker room should ultimately change what's the product that's on the field. So I think I'm very excited, and as well as everyone else is excited to see.
So what is it about Silverfield that jumps out? Like Sam Pittman, everybody liked him. They want to have a beer with him. He had, initial success, but then the program obviously fell back into hard times. Silverfield, give me just what stands out about him as a person, as a coach?
Well, starting off, Silverfield seems like a really great businessman. Coming from Memphis, he was doing great with NIL, and I feel like Arkansas really needs to, boost our NIL with now in the world of NIL ruling college athletics, and without having money, you're not having that product on the field, you're not winning games. And I feel like with Tyson coming in and with the new stadium naming rights, I feel like that'll definitely bring in a lot of money. But at the end of the day, Ryan Silverfield is an offensive guy. Like I said, coming in from Memphis, he was known for creating offensive plays, chunking the ball down the field. So I think that'll be very interesting, very excited to see if that can work at Arkansas, because historically Arkansas is known for running the football. So I feel, and then another thing, he's bringing a lot of his same traits that he did at Memphis over to the University of Arkansas. They recently posted a video of him going to classes on the first day to see if the players were in classes, taking attendance, and I really love that. I feel like that is the structure that we truly need. We need a leader and not just a friend as a coach.
Regan, talk to me about the quarterback situation. All right, there's a little bit of optimism there. But it's not Taylor Green, it's not KJ Jefferson. So break down KJ and AJ. Who's got the lead right now?
I love how you bring that up, because that was going to be one of my talking points. Neither of these quarterbacks are Taylor Green or KJ Jefferson, because I have not seen them be able to rush the ball and run the ball like those two quarterbacks have. Last season alone, Taylor Green was a national leading rusher with 777 yards. So back to the starting quarterback situation, I feel like as of right now, it's going to be KJ Jackson. He is a returner for the Hogs. But then I feel like if you look at AJ, he's also technically a returner. He's following Ryan Silverfield from Memphis, and he knows what it takes to have that offense work. But KJ Jackson had one career start last season, which was against Missouri, and he went 11 of 17 with a touchdown. And then you have AJ, who had 2 career starts at Memphis, which one was UAB and the other being a bowl game. So I think it's definitely interesting, but I'm curious to see if either of them will have that mindset. If they can't get it done through the air, they can get it done on the ground.
Talking to Regan Skarda here on TexAgs Live. Let's talk about the running backs and how important you think they will be in the way Arkansas goes about their business this year.
Well, kind of similar to the quarterback situation, both of the top two running backs, Braylon Russell and Sutton Smith, they're technically both returners. Braylon Russell being here from the Sam Pittman era and Bobby Petrino, and Sutton Smith coming over from Ryan Silverfield in Memphis, and he knows what it takes for that offense to work. So I feel like it'll be very interesting if Braylon Russell and Sutton Smith can both become leaders in the locker room and lead this team and actually want to win games and be competitive.
Regan, Silverfield's got offensive line coach in the past, right? Like that's kind of where he made his hay in college football. What can you tell me about the offensive line?
I mean, like you said, Sam Pittman was an offensive line coach at Georgia for years, but then that's kind of shocking because then you look at Arkansas and we've had the worst offensive line in the SEC for years in and years out. So I think it'll be I'm curious to see, like everyone else is, if the offensive line is truly making a difference and becoming better. Because in order to be successful in the SEC at the end of the day, you have to be successful in the trenches. So I'm curious to see, just like everyone else.
So would you say that's the biggest question mark about this offense this year?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Talking to Regan Skarda here on TexAgs Live. All right. We talk offense. Let's move to the defense. What are some thoughts defensively about what Silverfield's been able to establish? Talk to me about the coordinators and what you've seen from the defense itself.
Well, Ron Roberts is coming over from Florida and Auburn, and he's known for his 4-2-5 defense, which is rushing the quarterback. And I feel like Arkansas will be needing that in order to be successful, create some turnovers, just not allowing the quarterback and those players to have time to create those big explosive plays. So, and I feel like with Quincy Rhodes Jr. coming back, having a historic season last year with 44 tackles, and I'm pretty sure 27 of them being solo. So I'm obviously curious to see if he will be a leader in the locker room.
Been a lot of transfers, right? That's the state of college football, but especially on the defensive side, I feel like there's been more of an overhaul on the defense from a transfer perspective.
Yes, for sure. I think to be on the lookout, I would say Shelton Lewis. He is from the secondary coming in from Clemson. And then you also have defensive lineman coming in from Virginia and Alabama, which is Hunter Osborne. So I'm very curious to see if those two players who have history and one having known of being in the SEC can bring that over to Arkansas and be successful.
Regan, do you remember much of the A&M game last year? And just and the reason I
remember we lost by a field goal.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that game to me was so surreal because it was Bobby's first game as the interim head coach at home, at least. I think it was his first game overall as a head coach. But it was like, it wasn't back and forth in the fact that A&M fell behind, but every time A&M scored, Arkansas found a way to score. Was that the most crazy game last year?
I feel like all of the games are crazy. All of the games, our losses were by a score or less. It's not like Arkansas was getting blown out of the water. Like you said with Bobby Petrino, we had an explosive offense. We just couldn't capitalize and finish.
Yeah. Talking to Regan Skarda, an Arkansas insider here on TexAgs Live. So what do you think is a successful season in year one of Ryan Silverfield? What is a realistic, hey, this team won X amount of games last year. If they do this, we would consider a successful season. Is it bowl eligible? Is it more than that? Is it just, I don't know. What is it?
I want to say to be successful in year one is simply just winning more than 2 games. I projected anywhere between 2-10 and 4-8. And I feel like the fans that are saying a successful season is being bowl eligible, I'm kind of like, you're crazy. Like, we have 80 new players on this roster. We have a whole new coaching staff. Like, this is a new team. And the SEC team, this is the hardest conference to play in. So I feel like we need to play clean, competitive, fundamental football. So I'm curious and just overall curious and nervous to see.
Regan, I just want to kind of go through the first part of the schedule. And because if you look at it, let's just say for kicks and giggles, they win 3 out of their first 4 games. However, let's just say they lose the Georgia game for that. At that point, What do you think? If you do beat Utah on the road early on, when I say you, Arkansas, if Arkansas were to do that, does that change maybe the way you look at what the year looks like?
I mean, possibly, but the game that I have picked out and pointed out that could be a make or break in the season is Tulsa. And you're probably like, why? They're not ranked. It's not a conference game. Well, look who we play before and after. We played Georgia and we played Texas A&M, 2 top 10 teams. So I'm curious to see if Arkansas will be like licking their wounds from Georgia possibly going into the Tulsa game, or are they going to be, a week ahead focused on Texas A&M? And just not being focused. It reminds me of the Memphis game last year. This is a game you're expected to win, and if you don't, it just kind of flips the season, and it's kind of like a step back moment, and you need to realize and reanalyze everything going on and make a change.
Are you optimistic, though, that this is the right hire, and if you give it 3-4 years, there's going to be success to follow?
I feel like yes. Like I said, he's a very structured coach. He has a lot of rules in the locker room, which I love. At Memphis, wasn't there. They weren't allowed to wear hoodies in the locker room. You couldn't have AirPods or headphones in the locker room. Anytime there was a team meeting, you had to wear official merch. So I feel like you have to have the team bought in as a whole, in a good mindset in order to be successful. And I feel like he's starting great off doing that. So. Yes, I do.
Regan, great job. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you here during the season, all right?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Regan Skarda covering Arkansas. We'll have her back here on the show. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with the fan show, guys. Chit-chat with them. A moment now for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you are in the area and you're in the market for a new vehicle, you owe it yourself to go get a car from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Your trade-in has value, and at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, they're ready to put that equity to work for you. They have a pre-owned inventory that moves fast, which means they're always looking to deal on their lot, right? So bring in what you got. Let their experienced sales team show you what it's worth. They have decades of combined experience. They have great pricing and great people that work at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. No games, no gimmicks, just honest deals from people that are going to treat you like family. That's the Caldwell way. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is now time for a show that is famous?
Moderately sub-regionally famous.
Moderately sub-regionally famous.
We're hyper-focused on being uber local is what we're trying to
That's
be.
where, and we call it the
Fan Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roy May, hello.
What's going on, buddy?
Matt Browning, hello.
Good morning.
And the return of Dr. Chad.
Chad's back.
What's up, sir?
Hey, I'm just so excited. I've been listening to you guys every week. Just
That's
glad to
not
be
true.
here.
You're busy. You've been busy. You haven't been listening.
Got the AirPod.
This shirt is quality, sir.
It was my daughter's kindergarten drop-off, and she said, "Put on your handsome shirt, Dad." So she picked it out.
It is loud.
It is loud. I just
looking good.
appreciate you.
I like it.
And you don't have as many notes as usual. You got some notes, though.
I got to,
Are you going to write as we go?
Right as we go. I'm just going to write down things that Matt says so we can use against him later.
Happy Matt, you're going to probably go last on
Fantastic.
the first question.
Hey, I'm just glad
so you can steal everybody's ideas.
I love that I walk in with my joy. I'm full of the Holy Spirit, and it pisses Roy off, and I love it.
Well, I think it's interesting that, what's Pharrell, that happy song? You probably wake up to that song, don't you?
Yeah. That and Joe.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Well, I used to wake up every morning and listen to Joe Esposito's "You're the Best Around" from Karate Kid.
No, you did not.
I did too.
You're the one.
I did.
He's just playing.
Roy, go ahead and say something.
No, he's got nothing.
Anyway, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. You guys haven't met Drew Lawton yet. I know his name. Drew, you get the first question.
Since Chad's got his notes, I'm going to start with Chad. What's on your mind today?
First of all, it's Dr. Chad Drew. So, Dr. Chad. All right.
Sorry.
I'm just playing.
He didn't go to 8 years of evil medical school to be called Mister.
I'm not a doctor. It's just youth development. So you can just call me Chad. What's on my mind? Well, first thing, speaking of Happy Matt, I just felt so bad last week. I zinged him via TexAgs text message thread, and then, making fun of him because Roy's like, what, the national championship trophy given away? But then Matt just like, Chad, that's a good dude, man. I'm like, golly, he's such a nice guy. All right, what's on my mind? Fall sports. Really excited for volleyball. Coach Morrison, I love the interview y'all had. Just see that culture continue on the momentum. Coach Elko, second year, you hear people go, well, it's 11-win season, but can he do it again? But everything's showing it's strong. Coach Shuttleworth, obviously, that was just a tough loss last night, but giving him time to prep for SEC. Excited for fall sports. And then also it's on mine, a guy named Jake Crane from the Crane and Cone.
The Craniac?
Him giving love to Marcel, like an A&M.
He's going to be on the show tomorrow, by the way.
I love it. Just that guy, well done. Because I like his takes. Obviously, I'm a bit of a homer with A&M, but what he said about Marcel, I thought needs to be talked about more. So shout out to Jake Crane.
No, I like Crane and what's the other guy's name?
Blaine Crane, Jake Crane, and quarterback Crane.
The quarterback, the former Michigan quarterback.
David
Cone.
David Cone.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
I think
Also former New York Mets pitcher.
Yeah, different guy, but same.
Same, absolutely.
But an
same.
athlete.
It's a good show. Their show is good.
I think they have really good information.
I put them up there. I put them up there with Pate.
I got a retweet for him, so they got one of my retweets. All 7 of my followers are going to see it.
Nice.
Changing the world, man.
I really am.
Matoncito, your turn.
Oh man, what's on my mind?
No response to the Spanish nickname. Nothing. I get nothing from you.
Nothing.
Do you like that?
He didn't know.
I thought it was good.
He didn't know what it meant.
He didn't know.
No.
You meant. Yeah, I mean, you work in the industry.
Yeah, but I didn't get it either.
What
you said
industry
it so
is that?
fast. You said, huh?
Never mind.
I think he called you handsome.
We'll just
I'm
assume
glad that Roy got that one.
Okay. I tell you what's on my mind, and Stephen McGee, y'all talked about it a little bit earlier. Just the madness that is players wanting to come back to college, and we've seen it in basketball a ton, right? But now it's it's leaking in over to football, and it's just gotten to be completely ridiculous. At some point, we live in this weird world where the governing body is the NCAA, except for they don't govern anything and they have absolutely no power. They're the most toothless organization. Like they're more worthless than FIFA, if that's even possible.
It's possible.
It's possible because we can see it, right? So it's gotten to be so ridiculous, and I understand that the eligibility rules have changed. They're doing the 5 for 5 and all this stuff, and so people are able to do a 180 and say, well, hey, if those are the new eligibility rules, then what the crap? But you're talking about dudes that have already played in an NFL preseason game. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? I'm just ready for football so I don't have to talk about things that are stupid.
Well, we talked about this before.
We may still talk about stupid things.
Well, that's true.
It's the fan show.
That's
Come
fair.
on.
I don't have any problem with them, like we talked about with, like, for example, Turian York, right? Declaring for the draft, seeing where he gets, and if he doesn't get drafted, giving them the option to come back. I don't mind that part.
At that point, not signing your contract.
You can't sign your contract, go to training camp or OTAs and do all these different things and go, oh, I don't like this, I want to go back
I
to
don't
college.
think declaring for the draft should be like the end point by any means. I think it's completely fair if you don't get drafted, or even you look at baseball players and they get drafted and they're like, in the 22nd
So let me ask you a
round?
question. This is completely a terrible question, but just because we're here. Let's say you don't finish college, but somehow you become a politician, okay? You become a politician, you do pretty good, but it's not a great run. You go back to college. Can you join the debate team?
That is a terrible question.
I mean, yeah. But
why?
I guess so.
Well, I mean, you got paid as a politician. You debated. Why can't you go back?
Do people get scholarships to be on debate?
Yes. Yeah.
I love when we're comparing apples to alligators. I mean, that's basically.
I'm just saying, it's a thing.
Imagine the NCAA is they're handling the debate. Like, did you hear what Nuno said today on TexAgs? He's going after debate teams now.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm defending the debaters of America.
Yeah.
Should you be able to?
Sure.
Okay.
I
What's
guess.
on your mind?
I mean,
You know what? I'll have my people research that a little bit deeper. I wasn't prepared to answer that question today.
Good debate spot.
The politician.
I did debate in high school. I
by the way.
conceded, and then I learned what that word meant when they're like, "You lost." I was like, "Oh man!" So
Speaking of politician.
No, I unconcede.
All right, what's on your mind?
Well, kind of going back to some. I mean, we've talked about quite a bit is all the talking season and all and that sort of thing. But I was listening. I've been watching all these different deals, and of course, anything you see, they'll go, "Oh, hey, who's the most overrated team in the top 25?" I've seen A&M in that list a few times, and you see, oh, who are the best quarterbacks in the SEC, and these different things like that. Well, I was listening. Somebody put Marcel at 8, right? 8th best quarterback in the SEC.
Josh Pate, your buddy.
Yeah, Pate.
Yeah,
Come on,
Josh
Pate.
Pate. And I think he had Arch as 1 or 2. I can't remember. He had Arch as 1 or 2, right?
He had
there.
Alabama quarterback, ? At 7.
Yeah, before Marcel, right? Which is crazy to me because if you think about it, right? Let's just compare Arch and Marcel. I mean, for the first, 3 quarters of the season, Marcel completely outplayed Arch the entire year, right? And so Marcel did have a couple of stinkers the last 2 games. We've talked about this at nauseum, right? But
ad nauseum.
Whatever. Okay, thanks, Roy.
Let's go back to the debate question.
Who's got the PhD over here?
So you've got a guy like Marcel who was outstanding for 3 quarters of the year, but again, it always just ends with what have you done for me lately kind of thing, and so it's one of those things where it's just like there's no point listening to any of this crap anymore. None of it makes any sense. Everybody's all over the map.
But so you wouldn't put Arch above Marcel right now?
I mean, from as a career as a whole, no, I don't think I would. I mean, would I trade Marcel right now straight up for Arch?
No, I would not do that because Marcel's my guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you're a national correspondent.
Like, if I'm thinking, how about this? If I'm thinking about quarterbacks in the SEC, who would I trade Marcel for right now, right? Just because I want A&M, if I want A&M to win the majority, if I want A&M to be a national title contender, who would I trade Marcel for in the SEC right now?
I wouldn't trade him for anybody because I want him to be our quarterback. That's my answer.
Yeah,
that's me.
But there are guys that are comparable, and but I don't see anyone that is just that you go, oh my gosh, yeah, that guy's so much better than Marcel. I'd take him in a heartbeat. There's no Tua Tagovailoa or any guy. There aren't guys like that. There are no like quarterbacks that just leaps and bounds on paper or even on film that look like they're better than Marcel right now. I'm not saying Marcel's the best. I'm just saying I can't think of anybody in that group that I would trade right now straight up for Marcel. And I feel like I've been harder on him, at least on this show. I've been harder on Marcel than anybody, and I still say that I think it's all nonsense. It's all the talking season stuff. I'm ready, like Roy said, I'm ready for it to all end. Let's get to playing some football, and then we can talk about real stuff.
Well, it was cool to see the leap that he took last year. This time last year, we were sitting. Everyone was like, "Can he throw the ball?" How many times did Elko have to say he can throw? He can pass the ball, people. Yeah. And the leap that he made from that year to last year being a full-time starter all year. I mean, I agree. I'm taking Marcel over everybody because what he's shown from year 1 to year 2 to now, this is mean, I think his offensive play calling is going to be a little bit better for him.
There are some metrics he's got to improve at.
Yeah.
But again,
he's my ride or die, man.
Ride or die with
man.
my
I'll
dude,
take
right?
Marcel all day.
Absolutely.
And there are metrics he has to improve on. But at his best, I mean, I'm sorry, there's not many players in the SEC that are at his best the same, right?
But
They're just not.
And there definitely aren't 7 other quarterbacks in the SEC that would take over Marcel. I can tell you that much.
Well, there are metrics that he needs to improve, and I think he'll be the first to admit to that. But think about, like you were saying, from 2 years ago to last year, from last year to this year, what he needs to improve is a much smaller lot of things, right?
That's a good point.
Because from his first year to his first starting year, he had to do a lot. Like, he really needed to improve.
Yeah.
In a lot of facets. But from last year to this year, we're fine-tuning the engine at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read Pate's top 10 because I do disagree with a few of these. Trinidad Chambliss, number 1.
I think that's fair.
Agree.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sure.
I can see why someone would put him above Marcel.
I'm totally fine with Arch being number 2.
Yep. No, I'm there.
I'm fine with
I think they're neck and neck.
John Mateer, 3. I have a problem with that.
I just have to see it because I understand that we saw him basically play hurt. You know, and so I don't know that we've necessarily seen a big enough sample of John Mateer to say whether he's number 3 or not. So I wouldn't put him at number 3 because I don't know.
Yeah. Can he be ahead of Marcel? Sure, if that's how you see it. But I'm saying 3, I don't think he's that high.
Yeah, Marcel at 8.
But I mean, look at real quick with Mateer. Look how he ended his season at home with a lead against Alabama.
Right.
And then, I mean, where's the criticism? I don't know.
And he had a broken thumb for a lot. I mean, and so that's tough.
But it's part of the evaluation, right? I think Marcel loses points from people because I read a comment yesterday because he had great receivers. Well, then should Arch lose a point too? Because he had pretty great receivers last year, and he's definitely going to have. And I don't think he should lose.
I don't know who's saying that, but the next person that says that, please slap them.
Okay, if I did that, I could. I'm kind of a weapon.
Do it offense.
Do you say he's a weapon?
Yeah, I'm a weapon. Yeah, legally, I have to I've got to be careful.
David Nuno, TexAgs weapon.
Lethal weapon.
Hey, you guys want to find out? I'm kidding.
I'm good.
Gunnar Stockton, 4.
Okay.
Got no problem with him, 4.
Yeah.
I would put him over Mateer.
I do have a problem with the next one, personally.
Oh, you just don't like the guy.
No. Personally, I have a problem with Sam Levitt being number 5.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the LSU.
That's more projecting
Kiffin
with a Kiffin effect.
Yeah.
6, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack.
No.
If we don't know who the starter is, they can't be ahead of Marcel.
on now.
Sorry.
What are we doing?
Then Marcel.
Yeah, that's.
See, I mean, it's.
But it's Josh. We love Josh.
We do love
Pate knew
Josh.
what he was
Please don't
doing.
let him off
He knew what he
TexAgs,
was
guys.
doing.
But Josh's. I'd just love to hear. I would love to hear his reasoning behind it.
He's got a whole show
and
on
also, we addressed this last week. Like, it was a little tongue in cheek.
it. Yeah, you
Yes.
said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Has anything so far through camp, the reports from Billy, from us on the show, anything you've read, changed your mind about anything in particular? Has anything changed? You're breathing.
I feel like there's been some positive stuff coming out about the offensive line that's made me feel better. Specifically, Wilkin Formby, who I hope has a great year. He's such a good kid. I got to meet him. Again, it's fall reports, or fall camp reports. So you can glean what you can from it. I don't know if there's anything that's jumped out on page, but I will say that oddly enough, it's some of the people that y'all have been able to see it. Go out with your own eyes. Billy's looked at it. Everything sounds positive, but again, it's fall camp, so
Right.
it's.
I would say depth. Secondary, I just pray for more interceptions this year, like takeaways. But I just think our depth overall, it just makes me feel better. Elko just brought in some dudes, man.
Yep.
I mean, the guys that years ago we'd see, and I know this was on the show at one point, but you see Alabama's practices, you see these guys, how big they are, how strong, and those are our guys.
Well, and you bring up Alabama, and I think that's a really good kind of a comparison. Because what was the thing with Saban, right? He had 5 stars playing on kick return and playing on kickoff. They sat and they learned and they developed and they waited their turn.
Right.
And that takes a certain culture within a program to be able to convince these kids, especially in today's climate,
right,
to stay at a program, develop, wait your turn, and that's where you develop that quality depth. And I know that it's still doing the portal as well, obviously, but like that quality depth is indicative of. Honestly, it's indicative of a culture that Elko's instilled.
All right, guys.
I guess I'll do my no. All right.
I'm going to talk about my place, Bubba's 33. I love Bubba's 33 because I love wings. I love pizza.
Burgers.
It got really. Oh yeah, you can talk.
Burgers.
You like burgers, sir?
Their pizza is actually kind of dynamite. It's sneaky because you don't think of like a place like Bubba's 33 having good pizza. That's kind of like a burger joint, ribs maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and their wings are good.
I have not had the pizza yet. I keep talking about it, so the next time I go.
The first time I went, I literally got a burger, wings, and a pizza because I was like, I'm just going to try it all.
You had all that?
Well, I didn't eat it all.
Okay.
But
That's amazing.
I had a lot of leftovers. But yeah.
I had the burger 10 days ago, and I was so full, and I don't usually get full on a burger. I was extremely full. Like I was like, but I also had some wings. So I did 2/3 of what you did. Yeah. I haven't had the pizza.
Matt, you having fun over there?
Yeah. $10.99 burgers all day on Mondays. Tuesdays, $11.99 pizzas all day. Aggie football, all Aggie football games will be played with the sound on and the high vibes there at Bubba's 33. They're in College Station. They got wall-to-wall TVs. You're going to love it. It's on Highway 6, Bubba's 33. Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. Fan show time still on TexAgs Live. Look, this has nothing to do with TexAgs, but we just watched the video at the break that caught my attention.
It was good.
And I'm not going to speak on the situation. Our radio audience, you may want to try to get to a TV. It's kind of funny, I think. Have you seen the video yet?
I just watched it.
You just watched it? So I'm just going to tell you what I read that caught my attention.
And then I'll just give my assumptions.
Yeah. So it says, let's see if I can find the original thing. Doesn't matter. 16-year-old Tennessee girl has been charged with assault after running onto a football field in the middle of a game, tackling a middle school player. The girl ran onto the field following a scuffle between two players tackling one of the middle schoolers. There's more to the tweet, but I don't care. I lost interest. So let's... Oh, you're showing it. Holy smokes.
Okay.
What are we doing?
She lit him up.
So here's my thought. So a flag got called. I'm guessing it might have been like a late hit or something on this girl's boyfriend. So she went after the dude that had the late hit. That is complete conjecture on my point. However, it makes all of the sense in the world.
Well, I bet it's a brother. If she's a 16 and this is a middle school game, I'm hoping it's a brother.
I don't want to.
What state is this?
Browning. It's Tennessee.
Oh,
Tennessee.
well,
We can take the video off. I just thought.
Just leave it there. Could still be a brother and a boyfriend.
There it is.
Could be a cousin. Who knows?
Browning causing chaos every show.
Either way, the point is, for those listening on the radio, this girl runs on the field and absolutely lights him
But
up.
the
Looks
hit
like
was
Ray Lewis.
amazing.
Yeah, she lit him up. It looked like
She popped right up to her feet too.
She's like, "Let's go."
It didn't affect her at all.
And then she jumped up and pushed him down again. The kid gets up and she pushed him down again.
Sports, man.
He looked like Ray Lewis.
The coach of the opposing team,
but
it
he
looks
killed the
like,
guy.
he got a flag.
Yeah, he came on the field mad, and then the ref threw a flag on him. So, yeah,
Be a
weird.
case study for officials on Friday nights or Thursday nights. Be like, hey, ref.
That's a thankless job, by the way.
Being a ref.
Oh, what a horrible job to have.
All right, let's go check back in at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Maybe we'll have a little more class. Lawton, what do you got?
So, Matt.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, he picked Matt.
Is there a sleeper SEC team that you can see emerging this year that has a good season to their standards? No, so not necessarily, Arkansas is going at 11-1, just for an example, but just a team that you think will have a lot better of a year this year than last year.
Well, I think I do have an answer for that. I think it's, and let me preface by saying that I think it's because they have been so down for their standards for so long. But Florida, I think Florida. They had one of the best. They had one of the best portal classes. I'm not going to say LSU. LSU I don't think is a sleeper. I think I think everyone's thinking that LSU is going to be good just because of the Kiffin effect. But I think Florida. They've got a super hard schedule. So I'm not saying they're gonna set the world on fire or anything like that. But I think Florida football is just got so much potential and should do nothing but go up from here. So I like Florida. I think Florida will be a bowl team. I think that they. I'm not gonna say they're going to contend for the SEC in the first year, but I do think Florida will be a lot better. I'm glad they're not on our schedule this year.
Stephen Govea says, what about when Reed has a mediocre game against the Citadel? What excuse will y'all use then? I don't remember an excuse.
I don't remember an excuse either. We just simply talked about where he's
If Marshall
rated.
Reed has a mediocre game against Citadel, then I think everyone will question it. It won't be an excuse. And I don't think we've ever used an excuse.
He had a poor performance against Miami. The offense overall, but the quarterback gets blamed, right? And are we blaming the wind? The wind affected both offenses, but he had a poor game. He had a poor game. So, excuse or no excuse?
No excuse.
Okay. He had a very poor first half against South Carolina. And a great second half. Excuse or not excuse?
South Carolina, he redeemed himself, basically.
I can tell you this. I don't think in any
Govea is
point
an
on the show
idiot if he thinks that.
have we ever made an excuse for Marshall. I think we've all said he had a rough his last two games. In the first half of South Carolina, he did not play well. We've said that over and over.
If he has a mediocre game playing the Citadel, then I think we'll all be questioning a lot of things.
By the way, I just said Arch should be number 2. Mm-hmm. Right? Didn't I just say? I'm assuming he's a Texas fan. I said Arch should be number 2, right?
Or he's just one of those haters. Absolute
did Arch
Aggie
have
haters.
a rough game against one of these non-conference games that wasn't good early in the season?
Arch started off the season kind of.
Well, Ohio State, I thought he played better than people said. I thought he was, especially in the second half.
Yeah, but a Division I starting quarterback at Texas also shouldn't throw dirt darts.
He played terrible against Florida. He played terrible against Kentucky. He played terrible against Vanderbilt, and these are all. I mean, they ended up winning those games. Oh, and Mississippi State. Remember, Mississippi State took them to overtime.
Yeah, but I'm going to give credit for wins,
Kentucky as
right?
well.
Like,
He lost to Florida.
But if you're going to say the mediocre game against the Citadel, is there an equivalent there?
So against UTEP, they won 27-10, but Arch went 11 for 25 with 114 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
And he had a rough game, or he didn't have a game up to standard, whatever you want to call it.
Find a college quarterback who's just peak all season. Right, like they're going to have their dips, and again,
Fernando.
I think the key.
well,
I think the key phrase here is
Rarities.
he said, "What
Heisman
excuse are
winners.
we going to make?" I don't know if anyone's on here has made an excuse for Marcel.
No,
I've not.
Jaden did. No, just kidding.
Well,
Too soon.
The bottom line is,
I'm sure David has, but David has to speak on air.
By the way, I don't know. I don't know what if what I do is an excuse. I can give you reasons I think things happened.
Mm-hmm.
If I just said he was good, he was bad, that would be a 12-second show.
Yeah,
the show would be over.
He has to cover 4 hours of radio every single day.
It's 3 on the X. But I mean, and then I do a lot of NIL stuff. But regardless,
there would be no excuse.
Can we find reasons for things why they didn't work? Can we find reasons for anything?
3 hours on the air, but you have people call you and you do interviews at other stations everywhere. Yeah,
we're still.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm trying to give you. If anyone's dogging you, I'm like, the guy's got to have content.
I think he was talking about the fan show panels.
Well, the fan show has never made an excuse.
I'm not going to give an excuse. You as a mediocre game against the Citadel. I mean, I'll come out guns blazing.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's just convenient for losers to just go on YouTube to derail a show. They have no life. And when I look at the YouTube page, that's convenient. But like, I take the bait because I like to argue about stuff.
Hey, text in again, fella.
Hey, and I'm going to be real honest. I think I've been very respectful of Arch on the air. I mean, I think I have. I think he's a very nice young man. I think he's got a lot of skills. I think the first half of the year was rough. I think the second half isn't as rosy as people say, but he has scoreboard, and so does Texas against A&M. So props. Congratulations. You had a nice finish to your season. A&M wishes they could have had a different. But we're in a different year. That's why I have no problem with Arch being number 2 on the list. I still think Trinidad Chambliss is the cream of the crop. He's also the first one I would pick to maybe take a step backward because of first off, he was so good and unexpectedly so good. With another year of film, I'd be interested to see how that happens. Without Charlie Weiss Jr., without Lane Kiffin, I'm curious. I do think the weapons around Arch are better. The question should be about the offensive line. I think Gunnar Stockton is solid, right? I think Mateer had some issues, but he has potential to be. The high level for Mateer is very high level. I think the high level for Marcel is very high level. Marcel needs to raise the floor. That's what I've been saying.
I think Gunnar Stockton reminds me of like all the Alabama quarterbacks that won national championships.
Yeah,
like he's a game manager. He's not going to lose it for you, and he can have some flash, but he's just kind of like snapping it.
Consistent.
Just handing the ball off. He's super boring, and he's just going to end up with a trophy.
Hey, by the way, Arch is also a Manning, and I'm going to be honest, I like the Mannings.
Oh, I do too.
I think they make me laugh. Yeah. They're all very funny. They don't take themselves too seriously, and so I mean Eli. I think Eli's hilarious. I think Peyton's hilarious, and I think what's Arch's dad's name?
That's about right. You just call him the Manning brother.
What's that? What's Arch's dad's name? Cooper. Yeah, Cooper. Cooper might be the funniest of them all. He's hilarious.
And by the way, look, just because I want teams to lose, right? Like as I think Texas fans want A&M and Oklahoma to lose, and like just because it doesn't mean you can't like certain people from certain programs, right? Like I got to know Vince a little bit. I liked VY. I did. After Mac was done at Texas, I liked Mac. Right? You can't.
Nope.
You can't operate like that.
Nope.
Roger Clemens. I love Roger Clemens. Love him.
Roger Clemens. Really?
I do. Yeah, but I know him.
I was on page. I was kind of on the same page with you for a minute until you said Roger Clemens.
Las Vegas Roger.
But I know the guy. I love my wife. She's a Longhorn.
Is she really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Thanks for listening to the show.
Sorry to hear that.
You feel better? I don't know if I want to do the fan show.
He does. He
loves
his
but
show.
you did caveat. You're like, after he was done, you liked Mac Brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had him on TexAgs with R.C. Slocum. When was that? 2 years ago? It was fantastic. It was a great conversation.
I'm sorry. I didn't like Mac until I mean, seriously, right after, I remember after the bonfire fell,
He was class.
He did an interview, and his tears were legit. He was crying tears, and he genuinely felt bad for those families. And at that point, I was like, this isn't all about football. I hated losing to him, obviously, but I like Mac as a person.
Nothing about that statement is going to make me respect Arch Manning anymore.
So you don't respect him?
He plays for Texas.
I can't stand him. He's a sip.
Okay.
No, it's not that I don't respect him as a human being.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, football-wise, I hope he fails.
Wearing the uniform.
Football-wise, I hope he fails in those most spectacular Hindenburg
I hope he has a
fashion.
great life, and he's and
just like I think Texas fans want the same thing from Mateer and Marcel.
Absolutely.
Right? So we'll hit a break. We'll actually talk football on the other side, not losers, on TexAgs.
Which football? Football?
Football? No, we're definitely not going to talk that kind of football. We'll talk about the other kind of football. Paragon Financial, you can talk. You know them. Good people. Good. I'm glad. When it comes to your money and peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep. At Paragon, credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Juan on the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line says, if you ain't in my jersey, ain't that the truth, guys? To finish out that last segment. Let's go back to Drew Lawton at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. All right. You got a good one this time?
We do.
Okay. We do. Like there's a collective group of people.
Well, there's a collective amount of reports that are reporting about this. Okay. I want to get Roy Your thoughts? Richard Zane just put out an article about this. R.C. Slocum will be honored with a statue outside Kyle Field Friday, September 4th, ahead of the Aggies' home opener against Missouri State, which is the next day. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think RC absolutely deserves it. I mean, everything he's done for this program, the athletic department. I mean, it's not just being a coach. I mean, defensive coordinator under Jackie. When we had like the absolute wrecking crew. So you think about his legacy here at Texas A&M, and his legacy transcends football. It does, because it's not just service to the program; it's service to the athletic department as well, which is obviously a direct service to the university. I love RC; he's such a good dude. I'm 1,000% in support of this. Where's it going? Did it say?
It doesn't say. Well, it will stand outside of Kyle Field's entry 5 on the north end of the stadium.
Cool.
Love that.
Yeah, maybe northwest. Is that northwest? Entry 5. I don't know. Well, I mean, because you got Reveille right there in true north. Northeast, you have the 12th man. So I would guess maybe northwest.
Maybe.
Kind of by the Wellborn.
Over by the tunnel.
Entrance number 5.
Yeah. So my take on it is 100% agree with Roy. And it's not just what he did for A&M. I mean, just the community. For those of us that live here, I mean, RC is everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. I saw him at the airport in Dallas, and he was sitting there. We were both flying back to College Station, and went in and saw him, and just jovial. He didn't know me from Adam, but and I'd met him. I've met him a bunch of times. So he meets so many people, but when you're talking to him, it's like you're the only person that's there at that moment. He asked you about your life. Hey, where are you coming from? Where'd you go? Not just, hey, I'm RC. I'm here. Yeah, you want to talk to me? You can. No, he was genuinely interested.
You're welcome to meet me.
Yeah, he was genuinely interested. And his son John Harvey is a friend of mine, and really enjoy John Harvey and their impact on Bryan College Station and what they've done for us living here, but also like Roy said, for what he's done for the university. No, I don't. There's not a coach in A&M's history that deserves it more.
Well, what Trev said about him at PKO, I think he said it a couple different times too, that when RC was the acting athletic director in the interim, he had an opportunity to sign a couple of deals, and he said, no, let's wait till the athletic director is hired to decide what kind of deal, and that was the play fly deal that it became, and it was obviously like he pays RC a lot of credit for that. So RC has handled so many different roles, and I was wrong. In 2002, when A&M let him go? I was like, I think it's time. And I was wrong, right? I mean, I was wrong. The only reason I thought it was time was I allowed the thinking, the bowl record hasn't been that good. A&M is just now recovering from that, right? And they've had some blips here and there, but like that was sustained success, Jackie and RC. Sustained success, something that we have not seen since RC Slocum. And he's still around. I saw him a week ago. He's the best.
Yeah, well deserved. And yeah, entry 5 is kind of, if you're looking at the zone and you're looking at Reveille, it'll be to your right. So kind of that Northwest Plaza area.
Awesome. Chad, your thoughts?
Well, I got to meet RC. I was at a restaurant with my wife, and I only moved here in 2013. But she happened to go over and see some friends that were sitting with RC, and she's like, I just met the nicest man. He talked to me for like 10 minutes, but I'm over there. I'm like I want to, but he was just too far away. I didn't want to come over there. And she's like, I was like, that was RC Slocum. She's like, oh, he was the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. And I was just like, you just met a legend.
Yeah.
So, I've been able to see him in different events. And again, just one of the nicest human beings. But the culture, I mean, we still say wrecking crew. A lot of things that he's been able to do for the university and community.
I think you pegged it. He's a legend.
He's a legend, and he deserves that.
And knowing RC, I wonder how he feels about this.
Oh yeah,
I bet
he's like, oh,
it's the legitimate all shucks out of RC.
Man. I guarantee he didn't push for this. I promise you, somebody else did.
Hey, fan show guys, next week is the last week before the first week.
No more list talk?
Yeah, like, hey,
talk?
number 8, Marcel Reed, number 2. We're just going to have some football to talk about.
We get to break down X's and O's with Missouri State. Can't wait.
I mean, I just need real football, right? Yeah, I need to see what that line looks like, both sides of the line. I need to see what this receiving core looks like. I need to see what the running backs look like. I need to see some interceptions. Can we please get 3 interceptions from the secondary in the week 1? Can we get that? That might be my bank on it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what kind of offense Missouri State runs.
Doesn't matter. Force them to throw because they're down 30-0. They have to throw.
Pete Thamel put out a tweet about their starting quarterback yesterday. I should have more info on that.
Thank you for bringing that up.
That's
You
good.
have nothing to offer.
That's Can we rewind?
Pete Thamel said something about something.
Dynamite drop in.
Skylar, what? I'm sorry?
I'm the new Matt.
Broadcasting school's really paying off.
I'm trying to hear Nick talk. What is it? Skylar Locklear.
Thank you, Nick Savage.
Fake son to Heather Locklear. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.